This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Nine consecutive wins for the Trinity Trojans after limping out of the gate. They have been laying the wood to opponents week after week after week. This is the Trinity Trojan team under Steve Lineweaver that you're accustomed to. The number one rushing team in North Texas at almost 360 yards per contest. And a suffocating defense. 8th in yards, 2nd against the rush. 12th scoring defense in the Metroplex. Big play potential left and right. And after a playoff opening 49-21 win against the Marcus Marauders last week, it's time to turn the page to the next round. If you win today, the Trojans get a rematch against the Carroll Dragons next Friday. But first things first. A hard-nosed, tough team out of one of the top districts in the state of Texas stands in the way of that Trinity South Lake Carroll rematch, and that's the Timberview Wolves. 5-0 to start the season, wins over Hebron. Highlighting their campaign, they played Cedar Hill and DeSoto tough. After doubling up Shoemaker last week, 28-14, their reward is one of the best teams in the state, the tradition-rich Trinity Trojans. How will Steve Lineweaver's team do here at AT&T Stadium? Kickoff 22 minutes away here on Champion Sports Radio. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas for this area-round showdown between the 9-2 Trinity Trojans, 7-0 undefeated champions out of District 6-5A, and the 8-3 Mansfield Timberview Wolves, 4-3 in 7-5A competition, the third-place finisher. With a win over Colleen Shoemaker, they advanced the dubious task of trying to take on Trinity here in round number 2. Thomas Lee here with you, along with Sweet Pete Nielsen on the sideline. I bring in my color analyst, Ryan Mueller. And boy, this is a Trinity team that you know and love. They pound the ball. They've got great backs and a stable of them, including a couple diminutive 5'5 guys. What they do better than anybody else, though, is out-execute you in the trenches. And that's going to be key today, as I like to call Timberview kind of Trinity light. They want to beat you the same method possible. Pound the ball on the ground, play great defense. They're the 4th best scoring defense in the Metroplex. It's almost like they're going to be going against mirror images of each other here this afternoon.
Yeah, you look at Trinity, Thomas, and you mentioned it, a lot of beef up front. You've got 3 guys on the offensive line that are over 300 pounds, and that's just been a consistency throughout Steve Lineweaver's career at Trinity. And you said, as you said, they're tradition-rich, and there's no better time in the city of Euless than playoff time. I mean, this is time to get going, and I look at what Trinity has done this year. They just haven't looked back after the losses to Jenks and DeSoto. They haven't skipped a beat, and that's all for the style that they play. The great running ability, the way they can gas teams in between the tackles, and they control the line of scrimmage. They're going to try to do that here against a pesky Timberview team that I don't think really has blown a whole lot of people out, but they found ways to win this year. So, this may be a much closer game than a lot of people think because of the way James Brown has gotten his team to respond this year and play tough against some pretty worthy opponents, too, along the schedule.
They've basically been playing playoff games since the start of the year with all the tough teams that they have on their schedule, and this is just another one, but a big one here. As Steve Lineweaver 161-26 as the head coach of the Trojans, 38-10 in the playoffs, and a point that we made in the broadcast last week. If you start back in 2005, Trinity either won the state championship or lost to the eventual state championship every single year. 2005 state championship. 2006 lost to South Lake Carroll in the area round. Folks don't want to talk about that one too much. That fake punt called at Texas Stadium in front of almost 50,000. 2007 state championship. 2008 lost to Allen in the quarterfinal in the Eagles' first run to a state championship. 2009 state championship overtime win over Westlake. 2010 loss in the finals against Pearland. 2011 is the one exception. They lost to Arlington Martin in the third round of the playoffs. But last year, a loss to South Lake Carroll. And this year, they're hoping that they continue that run and go all the way. A 6-round trek, which will not be easy at all, folks, because whoever wins this one between Timberview and Trinity has the Carroll Dragons here in attendance, scouting that game already, and ready to lace them up on Friday back here at AT&T Stadium.
So as long as they don't play Carroll, Martin, Pearland, or Allen, they're good.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah, you're right. It's been, that's why I'm saying that the postseason is so sweet for these fans that are so devout for the Trinity Trojans. You talk about the tradition that's here, and Steve Lineweaver is one of the best coaches, I think, in the nation, because everyone says it as the years go by. Trinity doesn't rebuild, they reload. That phrase, I hear it every time. We get to about the fourth week of the season, they go, wow, Trinity's good again. Well, that's because they reload. And that's part of it. I think that there's a lot here this year, and they're going to face a very tough Timberview team, and they have their sights set on another deep run.
The Trinity Trojans are on Champion Sports Radio. This broadcast of the Hearst-Euless-Bedford Independent School District is sponsored by the following. Texas Health HEB. At Texas Health HEB, they're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for their community, but also their ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. After 40 years, they're better than ever. Online at texashealth.org/HEB. By Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors. Don't put off the things you know you should do today. Call Thomas Lee and start a financial strategy so you can prepare for the things you need tomorrow. By ShockboxDFW.com. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. By Whirlyball HEB. Leagues are forming right now, so visit them online at WhirlyballHEB.com. By StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Available in the iPad App Store and online at StatGeek.com. By the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra, enjoy a cultural experience with your family without breaking the bank. Visit GDYO.org for more information. Trinity Trojan Football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, on Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. Coming up on the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show, we'll have interviews with both head coaches. My interview with Steve Lineweaver will follow my pregame conversation with James Brown, the head coach of the Timberview Wolves. It's when we continue in a moment here from AT&T Stadium. Trinity, Timberview, 17 minutes away, right here on Champion Sports Radio.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Welcome back to the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. Thomas Lee now joined by the head coach of the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, James Brown. And, Coach, it's really been probably a tough luck of the draw this year for you because I have seen few schools that have played the kind of top-tier talented teams that you guys have been able to persevere through with Hebron and DeSoto and Cedar Hill. I mean, it's like a murderer's row, all 10 games during the regular season. Congratulations, first of all, on making the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate it, and you're exactly right. I mean, the toughest thing for us is, unfortunately, we're a school of 1,600 kids right now. That was our snapshot for the year. So it's been a tough road. I mean, and you can definitely see the difference in numbers and depth for us.
Obviously, I mean, I mentioned those three schools particularly because they're playing in the other games here today at Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the second round of the playoffs, and you got all these opponents stacked up. Then you have, of course, rivalry games with Summit and with Mansfield and so forth, middled in as well. But it looked like you guys really were flying high early, and district competition always kind of levels things out and teams get to effectively scout you. What do you think you guys improved the most on going through this tough District 7-5A schedule?
I think the biggest thing for us was just the amount of the competition week in and week out just gave us the ability to kind of figure out who we were. Obviously we rely on our defense, things that our defense does and kind of keep us in games to do that. And it's evident by scores, how we were able to do that throughout district play. It's such a tough district, but I think the biggest thing that kind of showed, its feathers or whatever you want to call it was the fact that, as we went through our district schedule, our depth showed a little bit as we got banged up and had to play those kind of teams week in and week out.
Obviously, this was probably not looked at as a destination year by your coaching staff. 3 seniors starting on offense. That's all. You have 8 underclassmen in the starting lineups for today's area-round game. Defensively, it's kind of the same deal, only 6 seniors. So you guys are heavy in underclassmen. This is a great experience for them to learn. But, of course, you guys aren't ready to cash it in just yet, are you?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that, anytime that you're surprised that you won, then you walk into the game expecting to lose. So, we definitely don't do that week in and week out. It doesn't matter who we play. Our kids, they expect to win. They prepare to win. So, I mean, it's a great group of young men, high character. They've done everything we've asked throughout the year. We are more heavily laden senior-wise on the defensive side, and we've relied on those guys a bunch this year. So, for us, it may not be the destination that we expected to get at the very beginning of the year, but I think as the year went on, I think we've expected to be here.
one of those seniors you've relied on this year is your quarterback, Tevin Muse, and it seems like this kid can do just about everything. He's thrown nearly for 1,000 yards. He's leading rusher on the team at over 500 yards. He's accounted for 15 touchdowns in different ways, shapes, and forms. And you guys aren't a team that goes out there and lines up and tries to outscore people, so those are hefty components of your team. Talk about his leadership and his development over the year.
Well, I mean, Tevin's development over the last, 2 years has been unbelievable. He's a young man who definitely gets and understands our offense and doesn't get frustrated with the fact that, a drive stalls or something happens. But he's been capable of getting us to the point of a game where we need to have a big play, and he's kind of put us on his shoulders during that time. And he stepped up really big in the SGP game, the South Grand Prairie game. I think he carried the ball on our last drive 9 out of the 11 plays and drove us down the field for 90 yards and a touchdown to win the game. He's been unbelievable. He understands, who we are and what we're about, and he understands that as long as we're close in the game and we're within striking distance at the end of the game, he's capable of doing something with that.
It's so interesting today, Coach, as you go into this area around showdown with Trinity. You're very similar to Trinity in the way you want to go out and try to win ball games. You get a hefty percentage, probably 2/3 or more of your yards on the ground. You guys want to establish that ground game, but it all comes back to the defense and their ability to slow teams down. You're almost mirror images of each other, aren't you, Coach?
We are, and I think both of us would agree that unlike most teams in the Metroplex area who like to put a lot of points on the board and score a bunch, we're kind of the throwback teams of the area. We both, I think, want to make the game as ugly as possible and give our special teams and our offense a chance to win it late.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Best of luck today against Trinity.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's James Brown, the head coach of the Timberview Wolves. Coming up next, we continue the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. My pregame conversation with Steve Langley, the head coach of the Trinity Trojans. That's when we continue in a moment. Trinity Trojan playoff football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever. And here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
You make plans for just about everything: the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner. But have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
And welcome back to the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. Thomas Lee now joined by the head coach of the Trinity Trojans, Steve Lineweaver. And, Coach, this has been a great run for your team. 9 consecutive victories now. And it seems like you guys have the arrow pointed the right way, the ship headed in the right direction. What's the confidence level like of the team with all the success you've had?
I would say a humble confidence, a healthy confidence. Due to the fact that we got some hard lessons taught to us the first 2 weeks of the season, I think it's serving us well now. You know, if we don't pay attention to detail, then, you know, this little trip's over with. So I think it's a healthy confidence, but a humble confidence.
Everybody who knows anything about Trinity football knows that there's one thing you guys are going to be able to do. Doesn't matter the year, doesn't matter what the personnel is, who you have in the ball game. Trinity Trojans are going to be able to run the football, and this year is no exception. But every year there are different wrinkles of maybe, well, we really do this better than we have in years past, or this has really been a strength for us. Maybe identify some of those things that have really worked well for you guys this year.
Well, we seem to have more foot speed, and so therefore we try to accentuate that. Maybe do a little bit more outside option where we can get the speed up the sideline, and plus we have veteran linemen returning, so we can do a little bit more intricate blocking for us anyway that can pick up some blitzes and also can take advantage, maybe get an extra blocker through the gaps. So I'd say it's a combination of better speed and veteran linemen and allow us to do more wrinkles.
I joked in the broadcast last week that, Jaron Wilson just doesn't really fit your mold at running back. He's too tall, Coach. He's 5'11". How did he get on the team?
That's funny. Yeah, he looks huge, doesn't he? Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's not by design that we have the shorter statured backs, but, golly, we've had good luck with them over the years. No, maybe it's something to the fact the big lineman, the little back, and it's hard to see coming out the other end. But, we've always admired heart more than size, and we've just seemed like some of our shorter backs have really had a big heart. So we try to honor that and give them the ball.
I tell you, I don't know if you guys give out awards for these kinds of things yet. Probably that's a postseason accolade you'll hand out. But as far as most improved player on the team, Coach, I'm circling number 12, Christian Hammock, because he, as a passer, as a signal caller, as a leader out there, he has come leaps and bounds over the course of the season. What are your thoughts on how Christian's developed?
Well, when you started this sentence and saying the most improved, I was hoping you was going to say number 12 because I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's just a confidence thing. He's always had the intellect, the quarterback intellect, the understanding of the game. He was just trying too hard. He was really, really trying to be the junior starter, and he was given the opportunity, but because he really, really wanted to so bad, he kind of got out of being relaxed. We want him to be wired but loose, particularly at the quarterback position. You can't be trying so hard that it's kind of like a baseball pitcher trying to aim it. You just got to kind of let your DNA take over. And certainly fundamentals are important, but the harder you try sometimes, the harder to do it. And I think he's finally come up with that balance of being wired but loose.
Coach, today the opponent you have this afternoon in Timberview has played one of the most difficult schedules I could possibly imagine, with the likes of playoff teams left and right, some at Hebron, obviously DeSoto and Cedar Hill, and all the talent that they have gone up against this year. What do you see on film from this team, and what are you expecting this afternoon?
I'll say this, their schedule, it shut me up about saying how tough ours was. I'll tell you that. It's like going through the Baton Death March with the schedule they have, and they come out the other end. I saw them play live last week, showed a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, with some key leaders in key positions, particularly the quarterback. I thought he's special, and as a runner and a passer and a leader. And they have a defense that I would say is just they're tough, but they swarm with speed too. So it is a very worthy opponent, and they've earned their way here the hard way. You're right. I don't think anybody's had as tough a schedule as they have.
Well, Coach, always appreciate the time. Best of luck this afternoon against Timberview. We'll talk to you at the half.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Head coach of the Trinity Trojans, Steve Lineweaver, coming up next when we continue with the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. We will have the starting lineups and the opening kickoff live from AT&T Cowboy Stadium. You're listening to Trinity Trojan football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. AXA Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334, or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, for this area round showdown between the Trinity Trojans, 9-2 overall, 7-0 in District 6-5A competition, and the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, 8-3 overall, 4-3 out of District 7-5A. Thomas Lee here with you, along with Ryan Mueller, Pete Nielsen on the sideline. Kickoff went out of bounds, and the Trojans now will start out their first possession on their own 30-yard line. First down and 10. Christian Hammock, the senior quarterback, under center. Handoff to the second man through, darting through. Isaac Ellsworth takes the ball out to the 40. That's a 10-yard gain on first down for the 5'5", 143-pound senior who is 19th in the area in rushing on the year. Hammock has had a great season. He is 32nd in North Texas in passing. Breaks the huddle with a lone tailback. Now check back over to the side. Wing back on the left side is Homer Babcock, 5'8", 189-pound senior. On the right side is Rafael Lacongo, the 6'2", 199-pound senior. Another handoff on a first down carry. Busting through another 10 yards here for Isaac Ellsworth. And the senior with 2 carries, 20 yards, and back-to-back first downs for the Trojans. Also out there, DeAndre Gibson, a wide receiver, 5'9", 150-pound senior. The tight ends, Will Taylor, 6'3", 236-pound senior, and Inoke Longy, 6'4", 225-pound senior. Offensive line from left to right, Patrick Vahe, 6'3", 276-pound junior. Mosesi Vacasiola is the left guard, 6'1", 255-pound senior. Saya Mose is the junior center, 6'1", 307-pounder. Moses Nunutau is the right guard, 6'2", 304-pound senior. And Lem Galiahi, the verbal commit to Oklahoma State, 6'5", 331-pound senior. On first down, handoff to Babcock up the middle. Gets about 3 yards. It'll bring up second down and 7 for the Trojans from the right hash. Offset I formation, delay give. Knifing through, Kenneth Gonzalez is brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. Needed 7, got 6, and it's going to bring up third down and 1 for the Trojans. Michael Badajo, sophomore defensive end. Dacion Harris is the other defensive end, a junior. This is the Timberwolves defense, a 4-3 look. Samuel Amaka, senior defensive tackle, along with Puma, Alejandro Anzodula. They just call him Puma. We may as well, the senior in their defensive tackle. Third down and a short 2. Handoff on a crash back the other way. And Puma makes his presence felt as he knifes in and knocks Ellsworth down to the turf shy of the first down. It's going to be fourth down and 2 now for Trinity at the Timberview 42-yard line.
And Trinity is, as expected, keeping it on the ground. Some great playmakers. Ellsworth is one of them, but some key blocks by Homer Babcock on this drive.
Babcock, the personal protector. Ginyard is in as the punter, and he's going to try to pooch it over to the right side. Defensive field position. Inside the 10, the catch is made, and absolutely nowhere for Paris to go. Edward Paris catches it, runs laterally and backwards, and actually loses about 3 yards on the return. Excellent coverage downfield for the Trojans. Stop was made by Marquise McCray. And here comes the Timberwolf offense. Will complete the rest of their defense the next time the Trojans have the ball. So the drive for the Timberview Wolves starts at their own 6-yard line. Pistol formation for Tevin Muse. He is the straw that stirs the drink for Timberview. Inside give, running up and slowed down by a heavy rush by middle linebacker Inoke Nalo. Not a lot of running room there for Nick James as he gets maybe 2 on the carry. Tevin Muse, 6'2", 220-pound senior, 76 of 172 through the air. Just 44%, 872 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's got 534 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Second down and 8. Play action pass. They put it up in the air right side. Catch is made right at the 20, and it's going to be enough for a first down. 12-yard gain on the pitch and catch on a quick little stop route on the outside. Pass hauled in by Jalen Loftus, sophomore receiver. Out there with Bryce Johnson, a junior. Myron Galliard, a junior. And Radens Okuzor, a senior. Snap back on 1st and 10. They roll the pocket to the left. Steps and fires. Pass is complete. And that's Galliard. Hauls it in just shy of the 25-yard line. Give him 5 yards on the pitch and catch. Offensive line from left to right. Mark Durham. Dimitri Tryon, who, by the way, that left guard, for Timberview. That is the son of defensive coordinator for Trinity, Donald Tryon. He's actually going up against his pops here today. Interesting wrinkle in the ballgame. Play action fake by Muse. He keeps it. Swings around to the right side out to the 35-yard line. Actually to the 34. It's a gain of 10 on the run for Tevin Muse. But Demary Tryon, the junior left guard, with a great block on the play, too, going up against his dad, Donald Tryon, the defensive coordinator for Trinity. The center is Ryan Pesca, a junior. Right guard, Dorian Brown II, a senior. And Nick Gerhardt is the right tackle, a junior. First down and 10 for the Wolves at their own 34-yard line. Wanting to go to the air again. Pass left side, and it's a little past the outstretched fingertips of the intended receiver, Myron Galliard. Bring up second down and 10. The Trojans defense. Tyler Hayes, 6 foot, 201-pound senior, and Tobias Nate, 6'1", 238-pound junior, the ends. Afoka Olie, defensive tackle, 6 foot, 283-pound senior, and Jalen Bevel, 6'2", 230-pound junior, are the defensive tackles. Middle linebacker, you already met him, Inoke Nalo, 5'11", 209-pound senior, committed to Houston. Kyle Unga and TJ Kautai will share time, both juniors at the weak side backer position. Turner Woolley is the strong side backer, 6'1", 216-pound senior. The cornerbacks, Bill Carter, 6'1", 198-pound senior, and Deontay Stewart, 5'6", 151-pound senior. Danny Mulongo is the free safety, 6'4", 192-pound senior, and George Moiakiolo is the rover, 6'1", 207-pound senior. False start is the penalty against Timberview. So second down and 15 now for Tevin Muse and company on their own 30-yard line. They break the huddle. Actually, the line of scrimmage is their own 29. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Roll the pocket out to the left side, stopping, firing a bullet in and out of the hands of Jalen Loftus. A sophomore couldn't hang on. But it's evident early, Ryan, that the Timberview Wolves are not going to be content to just have Tevin Muse sit back in the pocket against this tough Trojan defensive line.
No, it's absolutely true. He's going to have to be a little more mobile, and he's shown that he can do that with over 530 yards on the ground coming into tonight. So he's fleet of foot. He can move around, scramble, innovate a little bit, and he's had to do that already here tonight.
Loftus wide left. Slot left is Paris. Now he comes in motion towards the backfield. They run option right. There's the late pitch. Scoops it up at the 35 to the 30. Knocked out of bounds actually at the 36. Way short of where I thought. Not a lot of running room there on the outside, and it's going to bring up fourth down for Timberview as the Trojan defense holds on their first opportunity.
A good rotation by the Trinity defense, realizing where the ball was being distributed because Muse just ran out of real estate. There was no option for him but to pitch the ball out, and great job by that secondary to rotate over.
Kenneth Gonzalez back deep to return the punt. Pass back, whistles blow, and procedure penalty is going to probably go against Timberview, and that'll move Ryan Branch back deeper into his end of the field. It is a false start. Referee is Klaus Straussman, umpire Carl Edmondson. Tony Mason is the head linesman, line judge J.B. Berry, and Robert Dildine is the back judge. Fourth down and 13 now for Timberview. Punting formation. Gonzalez stands out as 35 awaiting the punt. Branch back inside his own 20. Heavy rush, but gets it away. Hangs up high in the air and takes a great Timberview bounce inside the 30, inside the 25, all the way down inside the 20. Finally dies of exhaustion at the 18, and that is where Trinity will take over with their second possession of the contest. 7:23 left to go first quarter, still scoreless. Timberview and Trinity both having to punt on their opening possessions. We go down to the field and check in with Pete Nielsen.
Thomas, how are you guys up there? Hey, I don't know if it's the hangover from the last game, but the energy level here on the Trinity sideline, not nearly what we were used to being. It's a little bit flat over here, but let's see what they can do offensively. A lot of coaching them up here on the defensive side right now.
Thank you, Peter. First down and 10, Trojans on their own 18-yard line. I formation. Fullback run and still pushing hard, trying to get some extra yards across the 20 to the 22. And that was Tyler Naty, the 6', 219-pound sophomore, averaging just under 9 yards per carry. That's 5 touchdowns on the year. Part of the dynamic sophomore backfield that Trojan fans will get to enjoy for 2 more seasons after this one. Tyler Naty and J-Ron Wilson. A lot of explosive running ability from those 2 young men. Wilson, the lone setback, under center. Hammock. Movement, and Hammock wanted to come out and take a shot. I think he got a hard count. Maybe got an offside call. Let's hear from our referee. It is offsides on the defense. Got the Timberview defense to jump. Let's introduce you to the rest of them. Linebacker, middle linebacker Jacob Adamson, a senior. Weak side is Rashad Burton, a senior. Brandon Gardner, strong side backer, committed to UNT. Second down and 1, handoff, and big running room for J-Ron Wilson, who darts out across the 30-yard line to the 34. It's a gain of 8 on 2nd and 1.
A little misdirection, as we normally see Trinity do. They fake the handoff on the jet sweep to Edric Gonzalez, and J-Ron Wilson takes it right up the gut. That's the key for Trinity to try to pick up some big yardage on 1st and 2nd down.
From the right hash. 1st and 10. Toss sweep right side. Wilson with a head of steam, shakes off a tackle, cuts back, great vision, across the 45 and down to the 49-yard line. 15-yard run for J-Ron Wilson. For he is finally brought down on the play by about 3 different Wolf defenders. Edward Paris is the left cornerback, a senior committed to LSU. Nate Jones on the right side, a junior. Keegan Edwards, the junior rover, and Ernest Azabi, junior free safety. But a 15-yard gain for J-Ron Wilson. Trojans have it 1st and 10 on their own 49-yard line. Lagongo wing back on the left side. Delay give. Wilson tries to leap over and keep going. Gets about 2 yards, but nothing more than that. Great pursuit by the cornerback Nate Jones to bring down Wilson after a 2-yard gain.
And Nate just comes flying across, and in this particular game, it's always going to be about staying at home and trying to read the tackle, and Jones does just that. He waits and then engulfs the running back. Nice effort.
Rashad Burton in on the tackle as well. 2nd down and 8, ball in the middle of the field. Trojans looking back to the sideline. Ginyard wide right, slot right is Edric Gonzalez. Play action fake. Hammond all day. Steps, fires, deep down the middle of the field, and it is knocked away. What a play by Edward Paris. I now understand why this young man's going to go play in Baton Rouge. That was a big-time play. Well defensed on a long shot to Deion Ginyard.
I was going to say my key to the game for Timberview, yes, they're going to have to stop the run. That's a given. But what Trinity does best is they pick their spots to go deep. That was a great opportunity to run play action, and Paris was ready for it.
3rd down and 8. 2 receivers left. Gibson wide left, Gonzalez slot left. Wingback on the left side is Babcock. Tight end on the right side of the line is Taylor. Ball in the middle of the field. Ellsworth back there protecting Hammock, who gets flushed out of the pocket and sacked back at the 42-yard line. Great pursuit by Dacion Harris as he brings down Hammock for a sack, and it's going to set up 4th and long.
A lot of help from Timberview, and that's just a nice effort, a collective effort, if you will. Harris, Addison, Badajo, all 3 there to take down Hammock.
Puma with big disruption up the middle as well. Second time for Ginyard to punt. Bounces down inside the 25, and I think that's where it's going to be blown dead. Good coverage by Inoki Longy, who is the deep snapper, as he was down there to keep it from taking more of a Timberview bounce towards midfield. So, 2 possessions, 2 punts for Trinity. Timberview getting it for the second time in a scoreless ball game. 4:23 left to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, neither team able to do much, and I think that just adds to Pete Nielsen's point about the mood down on the sideline. Seems like everybody's focused. They're both trying to figure each other out here in the first quarter.
First down and 10 on their own 26. Muse to the air, right side, catch is made, slips through a tackle to the 35, to the 40, across the 45 and down to midfield. Penalty flags come flying in at the end of the play. 25 yards on the pitch and catch, and that's before the penalty is tacked on. More than likely, it's going to be a personal foul face mask against the Trinity defense. Not a personal foul, just a 5-yard penalty. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it is 15 yards. Okie dokie.
A lot of things really working for Jalen Loftus, the sophomore receiver, as he hauls in the catch and then has to turn upfield. He got hit a little bit, and that's just a great job of keeping the play alive. He stays on his feet when he should have been tackled, and they tack on the personal foul penalty, and perhaps this is what the Wolves need, try to creep into Trinity territory and get the game's first points.
The man who made the catch, Jalen Loftus, is the one being helped off the field right now for the Timberview Wolves. Two receivers left. Okuzor widest of those two. They're going to try to sweep it around to the left side. Nice cut back up and in and brought down right at the 30 or to the 29-yard line. Gain of about 5 on the play. That's good running by Galliard. Junior's kind of a do-everything skill player for James Brown and the Wolves. 2nd and 5 at the Trinity 29. Nick James running back on the right side, quarterback Muse. Handoff sweeping around and not a lot of running room there. It's a 1-yard loss as Nalo throws James to the turf at the 30. It'll be 3rd and 6.
A good job to follow the ball carrier as well because of how much attention is paid to Tevin Muse. He's so talented, so James Brown knows that and will run misdirection plays in the backfield to try to keep the defense guessing. Nalo knew exactly where the ball was going. The linebacker broke it up.
Mulonga was there to help turn it back inside as well. 3rd down and 6. Heavy rush. Blitz. Muse scrambling out to his right. Turns the corner and picks up the first down with his legs. Needed to get to the 24. Steps out at the 22-yard line. It's an 8-yard scramble on 3rd and 6.
For Trojan fans in attendance that really don't know a whole lot about Tevin Muse, just got a glimpse of his athletic ability dashing toward the sideline. He had about 4 white jerseys chasing him. Shows you the speed he has. 2
receivers left, 1 to the right. Handoff on a stretch play to the left side. Bounces it outside to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown Timberview. 22-yard touchdown run for number 20, Bryce Johnson. And the Wolves score first tonight.
Yeah, Johnson gets a big block from Myron Galliard. You talk about Galliard doing it all. Yeah, he can also block, and he seals off the corner, and that allows him to scoot through for a touchdown.
On to attempt the PAT. Alex Martin, 6 foot, 175-pound junior. Good hold. Kick is up. It is on its way, and it is good. 28th PAT of the year for Martin. New score from AT&T Stadium. Timberview 7, Trinity nothing. 2:51 left to go here, first quarter. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. with 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
Never do today what you can put off until tomorrow, right? Now, that's not exactly the saying, but it seems like people would rather do anything other than doing something about their finances. That's why there's AXA Advisors. We work one-on-one with you to create a financial strategy for the things you need tomorrow. Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
And welcome back here to AT&T Stadium. Touchdown for the Wolves. 5 plays, 3 first downs. From 22 yards out, it is Nick James with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season with 2:51 left to go here in the first. Timberview leads Trinity 7-0.
Pretty good directional kick there for the kickoff specialist, Jake Jacola. The junior puts it over the head of the up man, and it rolls down all the way into the end zone and then out for a touchback. Don't want to give the Trojan return men an opportunity to make an explosive play in special teams. Evidently was the design for head coach James Brown. Third possession of the ball game, handoff, and Ellsworth is upended and dropped by Dacion Harris. The junior defensive end was there. No gain on the play, back to the 25-yard line, and it's 2nd and 10.
And Trinity's, again, going to stick to the game plan. No reason to shy away from it. Just got to find some running room, as I think the secondary has played very well so far for Timberview. They're helping out, they're coming up and trying to blow up plays.
Option to the right side. Nice keeper by Hammett. Cuts back to the 30. Dives forward to the 31-yard line. Puma was there on the tackle. Ansel Dula is his last name, but as Coach Brown told me, we all call him Puma. You can too. I will gladly take that, Coach. He plays very cat-like there for a big man, 5'6", 200-pound senior on the defensive line. 3rd down and 3 from their own 31. Toss sweep right side. Turns the corner. Great blocking to the 40. And then ankle tackle there and brought down. Ellsworth almost took one to the house. But it will be enough for a first down for the Trinity Trojans.
That great blocking you talked about, Thomas, was Will Taylor. Great job by the tight end just to wall off a defender and allow the ball carrier to scoot through. And finally, Trinity's starting to pick up some steam on this drive.
Junior, the only receiver. He's out to the right. They roll the pocket to that right side. They throw it up for grabs and incomplete. Almost intercepted by Paris. Really close play and a lot of pressure in the face of Hammock. He was hoping for a naked boot. Paris could have made that catch. It just squeaked through his hands and hit the ground. Incompletion instead of an interception. Big change there for the Trojans.
Yeah, just to try to avoid tackle for loss there. Try to get rid of the football and throw it near the receiver, and almost. Paris does a lot of damage, almost did some there.
One receiver either way. They set up a little tunnel screen. It's caught off to the races. DeAndre Gibson cuts back to the 25, to the 20, picks up a block, to the 10, to the 5, wrestled out of bounds there. At about the 4-yard line, DeAndre Gibson on a tunnel screen with a huge gainer, and it's 1st and goal Trinity.
Just eludes one tackle. That's really all he needed. As Puma was trying to chase him from behind, he couldn't catch him. DeAndre Gibson, so fast, 182 receiving yards coming in to tonight, and shows off his skills so quick. Gets down the field, and Trinity's knocking on the door.
54 yards on the pitch and catch. Inside run, churning his legs, trying to penetrate the goal line, cannot. Ellsworth is stood up shy of the goal line. He got down close to the 1, and then a whole host of maroon jerseyed Wolves defenders were there, including Craig Jim Lawson, the sophomore backup middle linebacker. Jumbo package coming in for the Trojans. Second down and goal from the 2. 32 personnel, 3 tight ends, 2 backs. Delay, back to the other side. J-Ron Wilson stood up at the 5. Boy, the Wolf defense was absolutely ready for that one. Led by Keegan Edwards, the junior rover.
It goes back to what I mentioned before. Secondary is coming up to help out. Edwards is there, and then you also have the linebacker, Jacob Addison, ranging over to try to find the ball carrier, and you never know with this Trinity team who's going to come out with it. Nice job to key in on that.
Matthew Harmon also in on the stop, and that'll do it for the first quarter of play. We'll switch ends. The Trojans will have it 3rd and goal from the 5 when we come back to AT&T Stadium. Timberview 7, Trinity nothing. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
3rd down and goal from the 5. Toss sweep left side, trying to turn the corner to the 5, knocked off his feet and down to the 2. J-Ron Wilson upended. What a play by that rover, Keegan Edwards. 2 yards shy of a touchdown, and it's 4th and goal.
The entire pile moving to the left, and J-Ron Wilson a little bit faster, but somebody who has more speed is Keegan Edwards. Like you said, he whipped around and got to the ball carrier quickly, and I tell you what, Tommy Neal's got a lot of what he's seeing from his defense right now.
Trojans go for it, 4th and goal from the 2. Handoff up the middle. J-Ron Wilson slowed down, got to the goal line, no signal yet. Officials running in, sorting out bodies. Talking it over, touchdown Trinity! What a play. J-Ron Wilson spun and just gets the nose of the ball past the goal line, and it's the first touchdown of the night for the Trojans.
Yeah, now I thought they show the replay here in the stadium on the big Jumbotron, and he just got enough to lean forward to get the touchdown, and a little extra effort, and he reaches pay dirt.
Extra point kick is up, and it is good. 11-11 left to go first half. We're all tied at 7 between the Trojans and the Wolves. Trinity Trojan Playoff Football continues in a moment on Champion Sports Radio. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShopboxDFW.com today. ShopboxDFW.com.
Trojans get on the board. 9 plays, 3 first downs. They travel 75 yards, and it's a 2-yard rushing touchdown for Jaron Wilson. We're tied at 7 here with a little over 11 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Whistle's blowing this one dead about the point where the return man for the Wolves came up. Oh, he did wait for a fair catch. That is what happened. I thought it's the only thing that could possibly have stopped all the commotion. So Timberview will have it first down and 10. Where are they going to set the ball down? 25? I thought he was further back than that, but I didn't see him signal a fair catch either, so they're going to set it down at the 24-yard line on the left hash. The left pro hash, I should add. Tevin Muse in a shotgun set with a zone replay. He's going to pull it out of the belly of Johnson and take it out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. And it looked like Nick James was like a leading blocker on the play as they ran the outside zone read option to the left side.
It always helps get that little extra space, and James at 5'9", 170 pounds, looking for a defender to block, and Muse gets out of bounds.
Quick hitter up the gut, still running across the 40 to the 45, 46-yard line. That's some tough inside running there for Nick James, a 5'9", 170-pound senior. 384 yards rushing, second on the team to the quarterback Tevin Muse coming into the contest. Offset eye pistol set. Play fake. Muse wants to go to the air. Hit and dropped back at the 41-yard line. Say hello to Tobias Naty, the junior defensive end, with his first sack of the game.
Nalo in there as well, and Naty trying to get inside on Mark Duran, the left tackle. He pushed Duran back, and Tevin Muse is trying to find room around Duran. That never came. Tevin Muse brought to the ground by this Trinity defense.
Loftus is back in. He's wide right. Good to see. Swing pass out right side. Galliard with the catch and run down the sideline, still on his feet. To the 20, cuts back in at the 15 and is upended. Good tackle on the play by the Trojan defense. Matthew Munoz, the defensive back, was there on the stop, but boy, the catch and run. See the lightning quick speed of the junior, Galliard.
It looked like Bill Carter, the cornerback, was trying to get around Jaylon Loftus. Well, they both fell to the turf, and Galliard was off to the races.
First and 10 from the 11. Pistol set. Muse hands off. James lowers his shoulder, gets about 5 yards down to the 6. Good push on the outside there. Good block by Loftus as well to open up the hole.
He had Loftus in there. He had Mark Duran. It's a little, as you said, small, tiny block to create a little bit of a lane, and he pokes through there.
Back to either side of the quarterback, Muse. Outside option, keeper by the quarterback, runs up and is stonewalled shy of the first down. Needed 5, picked up 4 down to the 2. It'll be 3rd down and 1 from the 2-yard line. The Wolves can't get a first down without getting a touchdown. A great job by Munoz there to slam the door shut, not let him pick up the first down.
The zone read works so well with a guy like Tevin Muse, who is athletic and pulls it out of the belly with so much attention paid to Nick James. He gets up the middle there for a couple.
3rd down and 1 at the Trinity 2-yard line. Offset eye pistol formation. Muse hands off, strings it out to the right side. Hit, falls forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Timberview. Just a stretch play to the left side. Nick James turns the corner and is able to muscle his way in to put Timberview back on top.
just before he gets to the end zone, there's two Trojans waiting for him. They converge on him, but he takes both of them into the end zone. That's just some power running by Nick James, as you said, on the stretch play to get in between the tackles and then try to break open the tacklers that were in pursuit. And he gets over the plane for a touchdown. Timberview takes the lead.
Extra point, partially blocked, but it's up and it's good. Trojans can't believe themselves. They're down 14-7 to Timberview. 8:24 left to go first half. But Trinity will get the ball back when we return here to AT&T Stadium after this timeout. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever. And here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Nick James with his second rushing touchdown of the evening. This one from 2 yards out, caps off a drive, 7 plays, 3 first downs, and 76 yards for the Wolves as they take the lead 14-7 with 8:20 left to go here in the third quarter.
Edric Gonzalez picks up the ball at the 14, takes it out across the 15 to the 20, and is tackled down at about the 22-yard line. That is where the Trojan offense will set up shop.
Second quarter, excuse me.
So Trojans have it 1st and 10 on their own 22. Trailing 14-7. 8:18 left to go. Here's a delay, bouncing to the outside. Good block, 25 to the 30, and Ellsworth lowers a shoulder into Keegan Edwards before Edwards pushes him out at about the 35-yard line. 13-yard run for Isaac Ellsworth. And a great block by Will Taylor to spring him.
It just makes it look so easy, and he runs with such a full head of steam. And like you said, the big old tight end, 6'3", 236 pounds, just right there on the edge to keep his arm extended and keep the defender from getting inside.
Hammock under center, tosses it left side, knifing through the crease. Ellsworth stays on his feet and gets out to the 45-yard line. Gain of 10 for Isaac Ellsworth on first down. Back-to-back first down runs here for the Trojans offense.
You could tell that Ellsworth just wants so badly to break it open and get down the field. He's got that explosive ability, but hasn't been able to do that just yet. Key blocks, but we talked about this Timberview defense, particularly in the secondary, making some big-time wrap-ups.
From the left hash in their own 45. Delay give on a counter, and great weak side penetration. Tackle is made by Samuel Amaka. The ball popped loose, and Timberview has it. Rashad Burton comes up with the fumble. And the entire Trinity side of the stadium is shocked right now.
From our angle, Thomas, it looked like that Ellsworth had hit the ground. The ball was stripped from him by Rashad Burton, but again, back to us, so we couldn't really see the ball had popped out, was laying on the ground. But Trinity obviously frustrated. Timberview take advantage of this good field position.
Wolves have it 1st and 10 on the Trojan 44 from the right hash. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right for Tevin Muse. Snap back, has time, steps up away from pressure, sidesteps another defender, just moves the ball forward. He's going to get about 3 yards before he's tackled at the 41-yard line. Tevin Muse just making something positive out of that play. Great coverage by the secondary of the Trojans.
This shows great poise, does Tevin Muse. Just calm, cool, and collected back there, doesn't get rattled. Watch the play break down in front of him, and he's got to, as you said, make something of it, and he picks up a couple.
Loftus wide left, Matthew Martin slot left. That's the wide side of the field. 2 receivers right as well. Muse back to pass on 2nd and 7. Fires over the middle, in and out of the hands of the back. Boy, he tried to make a move, I think, before he hauled it in. It was a little low on the play, but it's one of those plays that you give James 10 catches. He makes it 9 times out of 10.
And with as hard as Trinity hits, sometimes you hear those footsteps and you want to turn upfield to really just get a good start. And that is, unfortunately, one of the fundamental things of football, and James couldn't come up with it.
Looks like the Timberwolves are going to take a timeout as the play clock was down to 6. We'll take it with them. 6:50 left to go in the first half. Timberview with the ball and a 14-7 lead, facing 3rd and 7. We return to AT&T Stadium after this timeout. You're listening to Trinity Trojans football on Champion Sports Radio. Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org. After the timeout, 3rd down and 7 for Timberview. Snap back. Muse pulls it, tries to run. He's going to be sacked back at the 44. 3-yard loss on the play. Lalo flying in there, making things really difficult. Little help from Eddie Nunu-Tau as well. And boy, I would not want Nunu-Tau to fall on top of me. I hope Muse is okay down there. But Trinity fans can celebrate. They got the stop on 3rd and 7. It's now 4th and 10, and the punting unit comes on for the Wolves.
A big response from the Trinity defense after the turnover to force a 3 and out, but they just wouldn't let Tevin Muse run loose there. There's an instance where Muse sees some room to his left, and it just closes quickly. Nice job pursuit-wise for Trinity.
Branch with the punt, fielded inside the 15, makes a couple of moves. Kenneth Gonzalez still on his feet, and now he's going to break loose. Cuts back to the right side to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, needs one more block and picked it up. 20, 15, 10, 5, stretches out, and he's out of bounds at the 1. What a return of 84 yards for Kenneth Gonzalez, injecting life into the Trojan sideline.
Everything in slow motion. It really seemed like Kenneth Gonzalez lost his footing and almost tripped himself. And you kind of saw Timberview give up on the play. He was still moving. Gonzalez didn't give up. He kept going down the field. He got one key block, and a great job. He takes it all the way down and just 1 yard shy. Heck of an effort for the senior.
Down to the sideline to Pete Nielsen.
Guys, that entire defensive series for Trinity, the offensive line coach was over here marking stuff up on the board. And when that meeting was over, quarterback Hammock came over and let's just say he gave a little bit of a rah-rah inspiring speech. The young man stepping up as a senior, as a leader as well.
1st and goal from the 1. Trojans, 3 tight ends, I formation. Handoff, second man through. Fights hard to the goal line and is stopped just shy. Jaron Wilson tried to slam it in, couldn't get there. This defensive line is really impressive. That was Michael Badajo that really kind of got there first and would not let Wilson get past him. Trojans break the huddle, second down and goal from the 1. I formation. Fullback dive into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. Homer Babcock finishes off what Kenneth Gonzalez started. A 1-yard touchdown run for Babcock, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Homer does so well blocking for Ellsworth, Wilson, Gonzalez, and Hammock. Not a whole lot of opportunities to score touchdowns, but he lowered his shoulder and got across the plane. A big-time effort for the senior.
Extra point kick is up, and it is good. New score from AT&T Stadium. We're tied at 14 between the Trinity Trojans and the Timberview Wolves. 5:03 left to go first half. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
Are you studying on your own for the SAT or ACT? Follow My Test Answers on Twitter and Facebook for free solutions to official test questions. Got a question of your own? Send a message to My Test Answers and get a response for free. Got more than one question? Don't worry, we'll answer those too. With over a decade of experience in helping students prepare for standardized tests, the experts at My Test Answers will get you the answers you want whenever you need it. My Test Answers, problems solved.
And welcome back here to AT&T Stadium. Trinity knots it up. A 1-yard touchdown run by Homer Babcock. 2 plays, 1 first down. 1 yard is all it needed. And Trinity ties it up. We're tied at 14 apiece between the Wolves and Trojans.
Return for Timberview. And that's a nice run there to the outside. From the 20 to the 25, angles back to the left across the 30 and to the 35, and forced out right about the 40-yard line for Larry Jones, the 5'7", 175-pound sophomore. So Tevin Muse and company staked to a lead. Sees that one disappear and evaporate thanks to the great special teams play by the Trojans.
An 87-yard return for Kenneth Gonzalez.
Muse in a shotgun set, pistol formation. Sweeping around the outside. Galliard gets about 3 yards, and that is it. Linebackers flying, swarming to the ball. Fighting off a tackle, Turner Woolley bringing Galliard down. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Loftus wide left, Bryce Johnson slot left. That's the short side of the field. Wide right is Ajabi. Option right, there's the pitch. Nice cutback and a great open field tackle by Tyler Hayes, bringing down Bryce Johnson on the option. But not before he picks up a first down right at the midfield stripe.
A nice little juke move on George Moiakiola, the Rover, looking to bear hug Nick James. He was having none of it. A quick little move got him about 2-3 extra yards.
Loftus wide left, Galliard slot left. That's the wide side of the field. They're going to hand it off to the outside on a stretch play. Nice cutback, runs through a couple of tackles, and James still on his feet to the outside. Ball came loose at the very end. Carter had it, but it was already out of bounds after a 15-yard gain by Nick James. Fresh set of downs for the Wolves.
This hard run, and you see 2 defenders going after Nick James, and just nothing doing. He's got speed, he's got the physicality, and he gets out of bounds for the big gain.
Turner Woolley forced the fumble, but Carter could not recover before it went out of bounds. Now we have a timeout by Timberview. We'll take it with him. 3:53 left to go first half. Tie ball game between Timberview Wolves and the Trinity Trojans. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare, 40 years and counting. Who's number one in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to build something, how do you start? With a plan, right? That's what AXA Advisors is about. We work with individuals and small businesses to help build financial strategies that get them closer to the things they want to achieve in life. Start right by starting your financial strategy with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC. Sweeping around the right side. Hard effort by Galliard is chopped down shy of the first down. 4-yard gain. 2nd down and 6 now for the Wolves at the Trojan 31. Tie ball game, 14 apiece. 3:20 left to go here in the first half. Muse back to pass, has time. Flares it out right side, intended for James, who wasn't looking for it. And the ball goes out of bounds, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down now and 7 for Timberview. Thomas Lee here with you, along with Ryan Mueller, your color analyst down in the field. Sweet Pete Nielsen. I want to thank you as well for tuning in to these broadcasts. 3rd of 4 games here at AT&T Stadium, and the 2nd of 3 games on Champion Sports Radio here today from Arlington. From the Trojan 31, it's 3rd down and 6 now for Timberview. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Miller on the right hip of Muse, and a timeout is going to be taken. Taken by Mansfield Timberview. And we'll take it with them. 3:11 left to go first half, tied at 14. Back to AT&T Stadium after these messages. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com. On 3rd down, it's a handoff on a stretch play to the left side, and it's a 1st down for Nick James. No, I'm sorry, it's 4th and 1. They marked him shy. Timberview going for it. Tied at 14, 2:50 and counting remaining here in the first half. At the Trinity 25-yard line. Snap back to Muse. Delay up the middle, and the big man falls forward, and I think that'll be enough for a Wolf 1st down.
And followed the blockers in front of him. Again, another misdirection as they fake the handoff to Mason Miller. And he just barrels his way right up the gut. Big 1st down to keep this drive alive for Timberview.
Tobias Nate was in position, but the action on the option to the right side, he couldn't just go forward and pancake the quarterback. And that allowed Muse to pick up the 1st down. Here's a pitch on an option left. James scampers out at the 19-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play. Goes out of bounds, stops the clock with 2:20 left to go here in the first half.
Now, Tyler Hayes had Muse covered, so he had no other option but to pitch it out. And You see the speed of Turner Woolley, the linebacker, really helping string the play out and force James to get out of bounds.
2 to the right, 1 to the left. Back to either side of the quarterback, Muse. Inside give and a hard run up the middle by Daniel Ramos III. The junior takes it down to the 15. I like the patience here by Timberview. They don't want to give Trinity any time left on the clock. They've got it 3rd and 1 now at the Trojan 15 as we go inside of 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Needing a full yard. Using a shotgun. Again. Ramos up the gut, and again a good healthy run of close to 5 yards. That will be enough to move the change. First down now for the Wolves, almost at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, this is, again, the offensive line's really been methodical for Timberview the way they've been able to drive down the field.
10th play of the Timberview drive. Pistol set. Muse, snap back, stretch play, right side, around the corner. Did he stay in bounds? No, he stepped out at the 1. Great run and getting the corner by Nick James, who almost scored his 3rd touchdown of the first half.
James so close to the sideline that once he gets to the pylon, he's trying to put the ball so it hovers over the pylon or inside the pylon, and unfortunately steps out of bounds right before. That's why the officials rule it at the 1.
1st and goal from the 1 for Timberview. Muse in a pistol set, offset eye. Snap, handoff up the middle. Oh, there's that Trinity defense we've come to love. Stonewall the ball carrier for a 2-yard loss on the play.
Middle of that defensive line with some linebackers behind him. Came up to snuff it out. And as you said, Trinity so great with their end zone defense to see if they can come up with a stop here.
Woolley and Nate both in there for the 2-yard loss. Inside of a minute we go in the half. 2nd and goal. Penalty flags fly, whistles blow. And it's a false start on Timberview. Now, here we go. I think maybe the Trinity fans were a little late arriving, perhaps. I now hear them down there cheering away for their defense, the heart and soul of this team.
But haven't had much to cheer about in the last few minutes. It's 11 plays now. I mean, it's just incredible that Timberview able to move the ball.
Pistol set with Mason Miller behind Tevin Muse. 2 receivers left, 1 wide right. Wing back on the left side. And that was epic. Everybody else moved except for the center. So Eddie Nunutau was lined up over the center who didn't move. Nunutau fired off the ball when he saw movement. Poor Ryan Pesca just got pancaked.
There's really some miscommunication for Timberview.
Second down and goal from the 13. Game clock running down to 15 seconds. Snap back, Muse to pass. Flares it out left side. It is in and out of the hands of Mason Miller. Now 7 seconds remaining here in the half.
It changed the game plan. That's what happened. And back-to-back false start penalties. Timberview was really working it off the edge, trying to work in between the tackles. Well, that changes it. And unfortunately, that's one of those passes that Mason Miller wants to have back.
3rd down and goal from the 13. 7 seconds left. Timberview going for it. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Ball in the middle of the field. Pistol formation. Muse floats it out left side too far. Intended for Galliard. 3 seconds left now. It's 4th and goal from the 13. I think Coach Brown is going to elect to try for the field goal.
Just too far for a streaking Galliard who, again, is really really quick, but I think Tevin Muse trying to place that ball where the defender can't really hurt him. And unfortunately, it sailed over the head of his receiver.
Spot this thing at the 20. It's a 30-yard field goal try for Alex Martin, who just has one field goal on the season. Now there's a late run on the right side of the protection duty. Play clock down to 1. There's the snap. Kick is up. It is no good. Miss wide left. And after first and goal at the 1, the Trojans dodge a bullet. We go to the half tied at 14. After Timberview was trying to take all the time off the clock in the half and not give Trinity another possession. Might have worked against them a little bit in their attempts to score before the break.
Yeah, that was a big-time play for Trinity, and fans have something to cheer about. Perhaps that's what will turn the tide for the Trojans, because Timberview, the way that they have scored in this ball game, how well they moved the ball down the field to get at the 1, first and goal, and not get it. Oh, that's a big momentum swing, and Trojan fans have to love that. Coach Lineweaver going to be handing out some congratulations to his defensive line linebackers and secondary.
And that's why I always say you never concede points in football, because you never know. Even though they're at the 1, they've got it first and goal, they've got 2 minutes left. You got a couple of penalties, tackle for a loss, a missed field goal, and you dodged a bullet there before the half. Coming up, it's a Texas Health HEB halftime show. We'll have first half stats analysis. Your first half highlights with Ryan Mueller. We'll get you caught up on what's going on all over the 5A brackets in regions 1 and 2, both the big school Division I bracket and the small school Division II bracket. And later on in the halftime show, we'll also bring you the thoughts of Steve Lineweaver, the head coach of the Trinity Trojans. All that and more when we continue in a moment here from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. At the break, Timberview 14, Trinity 14. We're all tied. Texas Health HEB halftime show begins right now. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week. giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com. And welcome back to AT&T Stadium. The Texas Health HEB halftime show continues here. Live from Arlington. At the break, Trinity 14, Timberview 14. We will decide who will advance in the second half as we start the second half like we did the first. All tied up. Before we get to more information on this contest, let's get you caught up on some of the action from around the state, shall we? Start out in the Class 5A Division I bracket Region 1 action. Last night, Arlington Martin defeats Odessa high 52-2. Odessa had only 146 yards of offense. The Martin D forced 5 turnovers, recovered 4 of them, fumbles. And Martin advances, only allowing a safety to Odessa that they got halfway through the fourth quarter. They will take on the winner. The ball game we just finished a little over an hour ago. Coppell and DeSoto. Kevin Thomas had a 19-yard touchdown reception from Desmond White with 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter as the Eagles squeak by the Coppell Cowboys 34-30. Desmond White 11 of 18 passing, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. First 11 ball games he only threw 3, but the Coppell defense forced 2 from him today. White also had 20 rushes for 120 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Too much Desmond White for Coppell, who carried the lead just about the entire ball game and lost it with 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So Arlington Martin, DeSoto all set to face off next weekend in the regional round of the playoffs. Bottom half of the bracket, that's this half. The winner of this one will take on South Lake Carroll. 45-0 lead at the half. They beat Midland Lee last night 51-7. A.J. Ezzard had 2 rushing touchdowns in a span of just 37 seconds thanks to a Midland Lee fumble. Total yards, South Lake Carroll 446, including 301 on the ground. Midland Lee just 236 yards of offense. So, Arlington Martin DeSoto, top half of the Region 1 bracket. South Lake Carroll awaits the winner of this one in the bottom half. Let's go to Region 2, where today, Skyline and Saxe. Battle of impressive ball clubs. Saxe undefeated 11-0. Skyline 10-1 on the year, both undefeated district champions. And the Raiders just had too much defense today for Kent Myers. A standout all-everything for Saxe. 24 of 36 passing, just 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Held to just 15 yards rushing on 15 carries. Meanwhile, Zedarian Copeland, 9 of 16 passing, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also 120 yards rushing on 12 carries and a touchdown. Jeremy Jones with a touchdown on the ground. Anthony Baker with a touchdown on the ground. Lithero Randolph with a touchdown on the ground. Yeah, you get the picture. Skyline wins big today at the Cotton Bowl over Saxe. 565 yards of offense for the Raiders. Saxe 237. Skyline 365 yards on the ground. They don't turn the ball over. They recovered all 4 fumbles that were forced by Saxe's defense. Meanwhile, the Skyline Raiders with an interception to Myers and a forced fumble that was recovered by Skyline. And the route was on. 51-10 the final in that one. Skyline will take on Spring Westfield, who defeated Cedar Ridge last night 47-7. Bottom half of the Region 2 bracket. Allen didn't need much from Kyler Murray. Only 7 completions on the night. But they went for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. 2 to Jalen Guyton and 2 to Grant Fitting. Allen defense picked off Horn quarterbacks 3 times. And Allen advances with a 42-14 win to take on the Woodlands, who beat Round Rock today 24-23 in the bottom half of the Region 2 bracket in the 5A Division I, the Big School Tournament. 5A Division II action. We mentioned Arlington Lamar losing to Abilene Cooper 45-24 last night at Shotwell. Cooper now awaiting the winner of Hebron and Cedar Hill, which is our game following this one, which you can hear on Champion Sports Radio. We have it covered from all angles. You can listen to the Cedar Hill broadcast, Bill Howard and the boys, or you can listen to the Hebron Hawks broadcast with Brad Denton, Pete Nielsen, and company. So stay tuned for that one when we're done with the Trojans and the Wolves. Meanwhile, Hebron Cedar Hill winner, as I mentioned, takes on Abilene Cooper, bottom half of the Region 1 bracket. Fossil Ridge with a big 39-7 win over San Angelo Central. So they advance to take on Denton Ryan, who fought against a hard-nosed Midway Panther team here in the first of our 4 games at AT&T Stadium. Midway outrushed Denton Ryan 379 yards to 192. But Mitchell Bridges was spectacular. 19-24, 192 yards passing and a touchdown. Did have an INT. 58 yards on the ground. Tyrone Williams, 25 rushes, 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Midway led 23-10 at the half. Ryan was 17 unanswered. Denton Ryan also won the turnover margin 4-2. So it'll be Fossil Ridge and Denton Ryan on one half of the Region 1 bracket. Abilene Cooper awaiting the winner of Hebron and Cedar Hill in the top half. Region 2 action. Those Jesuit Rangers keep on winning after a thrilling 48-41 win against Plano West last week. Jesuit today beat Rockball by 20, 46-26. Congratulations to the Rangers. Next up, the Cavaliers of Lake Travis. Big win over Toscasita today, 41-16. So Jesuit Lake Travis facing off next weekend. Longview beating McKinney Boyd today at Wildcat Rams Stadium in Richardson. 27-10 the final there. Lobos advance to take on A&M Consolidated. Consol with a 41-16 win over the Westlake Chaparrals last night. So, recap the matchups. We're waiting for 2 more spots to be filled. Our game and the game afterwards here at AT&T Stadium. Arlington Martin taking on DeSoto. Southlake Carroll awaiting the winner of this one between Trinity and Timberview. Region 2, Skyline and Spring Westfield, and Allen versus the Woodlands. 5A Division II bracket, Abilene Cooper taking on the winner of our nightcap, Hebron and Cedar Hill. Fossil Ridge and Denton Ryan facing off next weekend as well. The Region 2 bracket, Jesuit Lake Travis and Longview and A&M Consolidated. And that gets you caught up on all the action in Class 5A playoff football, Regions 1 and 2 in the great state of Texas. Your score here at the break, we're tied at 14 between Trinity and Timberview. Texas Health HEB halftime show continues in a moment. We'll have halftime stats, first half recap, and highlights with Ryan Mueller. All that and more will continue in a moment here from AT&T Stadium. Once again, we're tied at 14 between Trinity and Timberview. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever, and here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
Never do today what you can put off until tomorrow, right? Now, that's not exactly the saying, but it seems like people would rather do anything other than doing something about their finances. That's why there's AXA Advisors. We work one-on-one with you to create a financial strategy for the things you need tomorrow. Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
We continue on with the Texas Health HEB halftime show. Your score at the break, Trinity 14, Timberview 14. Thomas Lee here with you along with Ryan Mueller, Sweet Pete Nielsen. We want to thank you as well for making Champion Sports Radio part of your Saturday high school playoff football experience. Time now to check in on our first half stats. Tie ball game 14 apiece. You'd expect the stats to be fairly similar. But a little bit of a surprise here as Timberview has outgained Trinity 227 yards to 145. Of course, that's a big part thanks to the great punt return by Kenneth Gonzalez. It just took a 1-yard touchdown drive for the Trojans to score. 227 yards for Timberview, 138 on the ground, 89 through the air. For the Trojans, 145 yards, 93 on the ground, 52 through the air. Both teams have punted twice. Trinity with the game's only turnover, a fumble by Ellsworth. Timberview flagged 6 times for 30 yards. Trinity just 1 penalty, although it was a full 15-yard face mask, personal foul variety. Individually, Christian Hammock, 1 of 3 passing, 52 yards. As the offense has not been quite as fluid as it has been in recent weeks. Also has 2 carries for a grand total of -2 yards. Isaac Ellsworth, 9 rushes, 56 yards. J-Ron Wilson, with 7 carries, 26 yards. Kenneth Gonzalez with a 5-yard rush. Tyler Nate with a 4-yard carry. Homer Babcock, 2 rushes, 4 yards, including a 1-yard touchdown run. And DeAndre Gibson, the only man to catch a pass. It was a tunnel screen that Gibson took 52 yards to set up a Trojan touchdown. For Timberview, Tevin Muse, 4 of 10 passing, 89 yards. Also has 26 yards rushing on 8 carries. Nick James has been the point producer, though. 10 carries, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Myron Galliard, 3 rushes, 15 yards to go along with his 48-yard reception. Daniel Ramos III, 2 rushes, 9 yards. Bryce Johnson has 2 carries for 6 yards. And Michael Coleman with a 3-yard rush as well. Receiving, we mentioned Galliard in his 48-yard reception. Jalen Loftus, 2 catches, 36 yards. And Brandon Gardner with 1 5-yard reception. It all adds up to a 14-14 tie. And for more information on how we got there, I turn it over to Ryan Mueller.
Thank you, Thomas. Timberview wins the toss, and they defer to the second half, so they get the ball coming out of the gate for the third quarter of action. Let's take a look how it all unfolded, shall we? Trinity starts out their first possession, their own 30-yard line. 6 plays, they garnered 2 first downs, but when it's all said and done, they are forced to punt. You're going to see kind of a log jam for the first couple of possessions here. Timberview, first possession, they're pinned deep in their own end zone, their own 6. They do have 8 plays on the drive, 2 first downs. They move the ball 26 yards. But that Trinity defense stiffens up, and they force a punt. For the Trojans, second series, own 18. 6 plays once again. Do get a first down. They move the ball 25 yards. And Timberview doing a nice job stuffing things up the middle, and they force a punt. So the Wolves have it. Second series now own 26-yard line, and 5 plays, 3 first downs. They move the ball 74 yards to get it within 22 yards, and he is a grind-out type running back. Nick James takes it to the house.
Left, 1 to the right. Handoff on a stretch play to the left side. Bounces it outside to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown Timberview. 22-yard touchdown run for number 20, Bryce Johnson. And the Wolves score first tonight.
They would. 7-0 as the extra point is up and good, and perhaps this is what it took, Timberview scoring, to really kind of wake both teams up. Trinity trying to bounce back. Third possession of the ball game, own 25-yard line. 10 plays, 3 first downs, 75 yards. They get the ball all the way downfield, and from 2 yards out, Jaron Wilson, the big sophomore, toting the rock.
Trojans go for it, 4th and goal from the 2. Handoff up the middle. Jaron Wilson slowed down, got to the goal line, no signal yet. Officials running in, sorting out bodies. Talking it over, touchdown Trinity! What a play. Jaron Wilson spun and just gets the nose of the ball past the goal line. And it's the first touchdown of the night for the Trojans.
We'll tie it at 7 with the extra points. And we got some offense going here. Timberview now third possession. They're going to try to make it 2 in a row. Their own 24-yard line. 7 plays, 76 yards. And Nick James has already scored once in this ball game. He gets another crack 2 yards out.
3rd down and 1 at the Trinity 2-yard line. Offset eye pistol formation. Muse hands off, strings it out to the right side. Hit, falls forward into the end zone. Touchdown Timberview. Just a stretch play to the left side. Nick James turns the corner and is able to muscle his way in to put Timberview back on top.
They would. 14-7 the score with that touchdown there. And Trinity now gets the ball, their 4th series, their own 22-yard line. Just 2 plays because the second play was pretty much a disaster in the backfield.
From the left hash in their own 45. Delay give on a counter and great weak side penetration. Tackle is made by Samuel Amaka. The ball popped loose, and Timberview has it. Rashad Burton comes up with the fumble. And the entire Trinity side of the stadium is shocked right now.
So there you go, fumble recovery for Timberview, and they couldn't be more pleased with what has just happened. Well, the only way you can bounce back from that is to try to force a 3 and out, and that's what Trinity's defense would do. I just love the intensity right there. Timberview gets it on the Trojan side of the field at the 44, and Trinity forces a 3 and out. Bang up job for Donald Tryon's defense. So let's look at now the Trojans on their 5th series. They get a great return on the punt. Nice job by Kenny Gonzalez. It sets the Trojans up 1 yard out, and they'll give it this time to the fullback.
Trojans break the huddle, 2nd down and goal from the 1. I formation. Fullback dive into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. Homer Babcock finishes off what Kenneth Gonzalez started. A 1-yard touchdown run for Babcock, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
So now we're tied at 14. Keep in mind, a little over 5 minutes, 5:03 left to go in the 2nd quarter. So there's plenty left in the half. Timberview gets the ball, and they drive it down 15 plays, 5 first downs. They move it 40 yards, and it sets up an opportunity for a 30-yard field goal. And out trops Alex Martin, try to go after his 2nd field goal of the season, and it misses. So we are tied at 14. And Thomas, that's a look at your first half.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. That'll do it for the Texas Health HEB halftime show. Your score at the break. We're tied at 14 between Timberview and Trinity. 2nd half kickoff right after these messages. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare, 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB. You make plans for just about everything, the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner, but have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334, or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs log symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the ShockBox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com. And welcome back to AT&T Stadium. About ready for the second half kickoff. We are tied at 14 between the Trinity Trojans and the Timberview Wolves. Thomas Lee, Ryan Mueller here in the press box. Let's go down to the field. Sweet Pea Nielsen just had a chance to catch up with Steve Lineweaver, the head coach of the Trojans.
Thanks, Thomas. I did talk to Coach Lineweaver, and I asked him about the problems with the offensive line and why they surprised what the issues are. And he says, no, Pete, they're just really, really fast, and we have to make that adjustment. Then he looked at me, and he said, we're going to find out what kind of football team we are because we hadn't played in a real close game in a long time. Smiled and walked away.
Always love the confidence of Steve Lineweaver and the way he approaches these things, too. He looks at everything as an opportunity, and he knows how much that he can help these young men prepare for their lives and their futures, even outside of football, facing adversities like this situation here.
I think he hit it right on the nose, too, because we saw that in the first half. Trinity's offensive line is big. They got 3 guys over 300 pounds, but at the same time, Timberview's defensive line is real quick, so we'll see what adjustments have been made.
Kickoff down to the 5-yard line, out across to the 15, angling right to the 20, across the 25, and brought down to the 29-yard line. Nice return for Timberview by Larry Jones, the sophomore. And decent starting field position here for the first drive of the second half for Timberview. Quarterback Tevin Muse. Nick James, the future ball carrier, the senior at running back. Radiance Okuzor, a senior. Myron Galliard, a junior. Bryce Johnson, a junior. Jalen Loftus, a sophomore, the 4 receivers we've seen the most. Give the offensive line after this 1st and 10 play. Muse and company from their own 30. 1st and 10. Play action fake. Lobs it up, and it's intercepted! Picked off! What a way to start the second half! It's an INT for Matthew Munoz. The junior defensive back was waiting on the ball. And the Trojans get excellent starting field position at the Timberview 43.
Yeah, Munoz just kind of leaks out because Okuzor, I think, maybe slipped a little bit and just couldn't quite recover and get back to his right side. And that is enough time for Munoz to read the eyes of the quarterback, see the ball, and come up with the interception. And what a play right out of the gate for Trinity.
1st down and 10. Handoff right between the tackles. Jaron Wilson inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. Trinity Trojan offense led by Christian Hammock, the senior, Isaac Ellsworth, the senior, Jaron Wilson, the sophomore, the 2 feature running backs, Homer Babcock and Tyler Naty. Babcock a senior, Naty a sophomore, the fullbacks. DeAndre Gibson, Edric Gonzalez, the wide receivers. 2nd down and 7, handoff up the middle. Jaron Wilson busts through again inside the 30 and down to the 29. It's a 10-yard gain and brings up a 1st and 10 at the Timberview 29. Tight ends Will Taylor, Inoke Longy, and Rafael Lagongo, all seniors. Offensive line from left to right, Patrick Vahe, a junior. Mosesi Vacaciola, left guard, is a senior. Junior center is Saya Mose. Moses Nunutal, the right guard, a senior. And the right tackle, Lem Galiahi, a senior. Handoff, second man through. Great blocking. Jaron Wilson, close to the 25, has stood up there. 3 yards down to the 26-yard line before he is stood up by this talented Timberview defense.
Wilson just goes right up the middle looking for the seed apart, and it did for a mere moment before you had the safety and rover Edwards and Azabi close in on it.
Second down and 7 after a 3-yard gain. Handoff, busted through the right side. Runs through a tackle, still on his feet. The 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, J-Ron Wilson. Touchdown, Trojans. Trinity takes its first lead of the night on a beautiful touchdown run by J-Ron Wilson.
Just not giving up on the play. Keegan Edwards had him dead at the 25, but somehow Wilson able to wiggle loose from the tackle and skate down the sideline for a touchdown. Oh, a big-time effort from the sophomore.
Extra point snap is down, kicking up, and it is good. 10-15 left to go, third quarter. Didn't take long. Interception by Matthew Munoz, cashed in by J-Ron Wilson. The Trojans have their first lead of the night. 21-14 Trinity on top of Timberview. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. AXA Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC. Cullen Ship approaches and kicks this one deep down to the 10-yard line. Timberview on the return, angling right, turns the corner, slowed up at the 20, out to the 30, and then forced out of bounds. Good return by Larry Jones, but the Wolves find themselves trailing for the first time tonight.
Yeah, big touchdown. Second of the game for J-Ron Wilson. This one from 26 yards out. Caps off a drive that's 4 plays, 2 first downs, and of course, with a great field position after the Munoz interception, going to move the ball 42 yards. So here we are. So we sit third quarter, 10:07 left to go. Trinity on top of Timberview, 21-14.
First down and 10 from their own 34, sweeping around the left side, turns a corner, gets close to 5 yards on the play. Hat's flying off. And a Timberview player is going to have to take a play off as Bryce Johnson, sweeping around the left side, had his helmet pop off at the very end of the play. Offensive line from left to right, Mark Duran, the junior left tackle. Demary Tryon, the junior left guard, is the son of defensive coordinator for Trinity, Donald Tryon. Ryan Pesca, the junior center. Dorian Brown, the second, the right guard, a senior, and junior right tackle Nick Gerhardt. Trying to punch it up between the tackles. Gain of 2, maybe 3 for Nick James on a belly dive, and big hit leveled by Inoke Nalo. Brings up third down and 6 now for the Wolves.
It's kind of a different brand here for Trinity in the second half, and maybe that has to do with a little smile Coach Wayne Lineweaver gave Pete. They're playing a little more intensity here in the second half.
Third down and 4. Sweeping around the outside, keeper by Muse. He is tackled by Tyler Hayes, the senior defensive end, right at the 45-yard line. Needed 4, got 3. It'll be 4th and 1. Defensively, Tyler Hayes and Tobias Nate, the defensive ends. Jalen Bevel and Avoka Olie, the tackles. Sunia Makahunu Ninu, the defensive tackle, also been in there and playing a lot of games. They gave him a first down on that play. I don't understand how that's possible. That wasn't even close. He was tackled. The ball was right at the 45. They gave him the 46. Anyway, a first down pass to Myron Galliard. A little too much on this one. Almost came down with it inbounds. Incompletion is the call, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. That was a terrible spot. I rarely say things like that, but Muse was tackled well shy of the 45-yard line. They gave him a full yard past it. 2nd down and 10. Inside give, gain of 2, maybe 3. Big hit. Turner Woolley and Okenalo both in there on the stop. 2 of your 3 linebackers, Kyle Unga and TJ Kautai, playing on the weak side. Cornerbacks Deontay Stewart, Bill Carter, Matthew Munoz, free safety Danny Mulonga, and the rover is George Moiakiola. 3rd down and 6 for Timberview. Muse trying to get the signal from the side. Play clock down to 15 before they break the huddle. 3 receivers dispatched left, 1 to the right. Muse in a shotgun set from their own 49-yard line. Movement everywhere. Flags come flying. This will cost Timberview 5 yards. It is false start. We go down to the field to check in with Pete.
Ryan Mueller nailed it, Thomas. I can tell you right now, there is more emotion on this sideline than there was in the whole first half, and it started with that interception. Now they're starting to act like we've seen them act over the last 5 or 6 weeks. You can see the intensity ramping up, both offensively and defensively for the Trojans.
You can hear the crowd getting into it as well. Bench pumping them up. Trojan faithful here in attendance, gladly obliging. Same formation, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Timberview. We'll take it with them. 7:47 left to go, 3rd quarter. Trinity 21, Timberview 14. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
3rd down and 12. Muse rolls to his right, steps and fires a bullet. It's caught, but 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Hauled in by Radiance Okuzur, the senior, with a 10-yard reception. It's going to be 4th down now and 2. And it looks like Timberview is going to go for it. Muse and the offense stays out there. 4th down and 2 from the Trojan 46. Snap back, handoff. Knifes up and in, spins past the 45 down to the 44. I think he just got enough for the 1st down. Kyle Unga was there. Also P.J. Halu on the tackle, but he needed 2. He got about 2.5. It's enough to move the chains, and Timberview letting it all hang out here in the 3rd quarter.
And met by Inoki Nalo, and that's a play that we've seen Nick James make before. His little juke move, spin move, and he gets the 1st.
1st and 10. Option right. There's the late pitch. Swarmed and tackled. Inokie Nalo again on the stop. The 5'11", 209-pound senior playing like a man possessed here in the 2nd half. It's going to knock Timberview back almost to the midfield stripe at the 48-yard line. Loss of 5 on the play.
Galliard being so patient. He's waiting for it, but that's just Nalo not giving up. Linebacker just makes a beeline for the receiver and takes him out.
2-by-2 spread on 2nd and long. Back to pass. Muse flushed out of the pocket, rolling to his right, steps and fires. It is caught at the 39 and immediately brought down. It's a nice catch by Matthew Martin. Danny Mulonga was there on the stop. It's going to be shy of the first down by about 7 yards. Halfway point of the third quarter. Trinity leads by a touchdown, 21-14. Timberview with 3rd and 7, the Trojan 39. Back to pass. Muse all day. Moves out to the right. Throws it. It's almost intercepted. Oh, Vil Carter almost came away with the second Trojan interception of the ball game. Couldn't hang on. It's 4th and 7.
It was a nice effort by Muse to just get out of trouble. It's hard to escape Tobias Nate, but he does. Problem was, as you said, it was some double coverage. I think that was Okuzer that was deep, but Vil Carter steps in front, tries to pick that off.
Love his name, Radiance Okuzer. Late run on the offensive line, and now I think a substitution penalty is going to be called on 4th and 7. No, excuse me, delay of game. Either way, it's 5 yards. 4th and 12, and James Brown may be thinking about punting this one away now. It's actually 4th and 11. They need a full 11 yards to pick up the first down as the ball is at the 44-yard line. The punter, Ryan Branch, back deep in punt formation. Kenneth Gonzalez waiting around his 10. Last time he fielded one back there, he took it all the way to the 1 on the other end of the field. 4th and 11. Snap back. They do punt it away. High, side-spinning kick, and it goes out of bounds right near the 10. Officially at the 11. Great effort and execution by Ryan Branch, the punter for the Wolves. And the Trojans will start deep in their territory, but they do have a 7-point lead, 21-14, with 5:37 left to go here in the third quarter.
Well, Trinity's got to be proud of that defensive stand. Timberview going for it, getting on 4th down, and I see some great play by that defensive line. Heavy pressure on Tevin Muse.
Here we go, 1st and 10, Trojans on their own 11. Fake on the jet sweep, handoff. Ellsworth knifing through, gets about 4 yards out to the 15. Before he is brought down on the play by Craig Jim Lawson, the sophomore linebacker. Badajo and Harris, the ends. Amaka, Enzaldula, the tackles. Addison, the middle linebacker. Burton and Gardner, the outside backers. Jones and Paris, the corners. Edwards and Azabi, the safeties. 2nd down and 5. They gave him the 16-yard line from the left hash. One receiver wide right, I formation. Second man through. Loses the ball. Mansfield Timberview has recovered at the 16-yard line. Keegan Edwards has been all over this ball game. And Jaron Wilson just never quite got the handoff from Christian Hammock. Edwards all over it, pounces on it. And Timberview forcing the second Trinity fumble of the ball game, now knocking on the door, 1st and 10 at the Trojan 16.
That's unfortunate. Wilson just couldn't keep it attached to his hip. He couldn't corral it. Ball popped loose.
2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Pistol set, handoff on a stretch play to the right side. And Nalo was there to slam the ball carrier down to the turf. No gain on the play. Actually, a loss of 1 for Nick James. Nalo is playing with a ton of emotion out there for this Trojan defense. 2nd down and 11 at the Trojan 17 for Timberview. Pistol set, handoff between the tackles, running up the middle into the end zone, touchdown, Wolves. Daniel Ramos III with his first rushing touchdown of the season as he scampers in, and the Wolves are an extra point away from tying it up.
And just got a great block on the interior of the line from the center. Ryan Peshka snaps the ball, hands off, and Peshka knows exactly what he has to do. It's look for somebody to block. Well, he found one of those linebackers trying to knife in there and make a play, and that was the difference maker that allowed Ramos to scoot through and get the touchdown.
There is a player down for Timberview. It's Damian Walker Jr., the 5'11", 175-pound senior. He is being helped off the field right now, not wanting to put much of any pressure on the right foot. Now starting to walk a little bit more under his own control, but helped by a trainer and by Galliard. Again, first touchdown of the season for Ramos. 17 yards out. The extra point for Martin for the tie. Plenty of leg on this one. The kick is up, and it is good. New ball game here at AT&T Stadium. Trojans 21, Wolves 21, 4:18 left to go, third quarter. You're listening to Trinity Trojan playoff football here on Champion Sports Radio. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Timberview knots it up here from AT&T Stadium after the fumble recovery. They get the ball on the Trinity 16. 2 plays, first down. That was the touchdown. 17-yard rushing touchdown for Daniel Ramos III. And again, we're tied at 21. 4:17 left to go here in the third. Thomas.
Ginyard returns it down the right sideline across the 30. Across the 35, down to about the 37-yard line after bobbling it at his own 13. So a nice return there. Good job cutting back, too, before finally being brought down by Larry Jones, a sophomore return man on special teams, covering kicks as well. And so it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Trojans on their own 37-yard line. As Ryan told you, 4:11 left to go here, third quarter. Tie ball game at 21. The winner gets the South Lake Carroll Dragons at 4 o'clock next Friday right here at AT&T Stadium. The loser's season is over. Receiver either way. Now Gonzalez in motion from right to left. Fake to him, handoff Ellsworth. And he is knocked down to the turf by Keegan Edwards. Kid is everywhere on defense for Timberview right now. Edwards with a tackle down the line of scrimmage. And I think it's going to be no gain on the play. Babcock wingback on the left side. Now moves to a fullback on the right. Back to pass, swing it out left side, in and out of the hands of Ellsworth. 3rd down and 11 now upcoming for Trinity. It's kind of seem a little out of sync down there, Ryan.
Yeah, a little bit. And this is a team that, as Coach Lineweaver pointed out, has been blowing teams out. Really haven't had much to play for, perhaps in the end of the third, into the fourth quarter. But right now, he hit it right on the head. They're going to be battle-tested here. They're going to find out what they're made of. They got to string something together here, have some consistency.
Trojans on their own 36-yard line. It's 3rd down and 11. Gibson wide left. Ginyard slot right. Wide right is Gonzalez. Back to pass on 3rd and 11. Middle screen. Catch is made, and Timberview was ready for it. Babcock brought down for no gain on the play. There is a penalty flag down, though, at the line of scrimmage. And this could give Trinity new life. Offside on the defense, so 3rd and 11 turns into 3rd and 6. The Trojans get another crack at it. We give another crack down to the sideline of Pete Nielsen.
Hey, just like we talked about in the previous game, the longer you let that underdog stick around, the more they're going to believe. And I'm telling you, this Timberview bunch is starting to believe. So big drive. It is a big 3rd down in this football game.
3rd down and 6. Trojans on their own 41 from the left hash. Pistol look. One receiver right, one to the left. Play action fake. Hammock steps up, fires over the middle, has a man. Gonzalez with the catch at the 38-yard line in Timberview territory. What a play. 21 yards of frozen rope. The only place the pass could be because of the great coverage by Keegan Edwards. The Trojans move the chains.
Told you, every once in a while, Trojans are going to throw down the middle of the field, and that time Gonzalez just peels off of his defender. Keegan Edwards has made plays all night, but not there.
Toss sweep right side, needs a block, bounces to the outside, still on his feet. J-Ron Wilson at the 20, to the 15, all the way down near the 10. They're going to mark him out at the 11. It is a 27-yard gain for J-Ron Wilson on a toss sweep right. Trojans back to basics, moving the chains.
Yeah, perhaps that's what they needed, a deep ball down the field to kind of open things up underneath. And J-Ron Wilson's holding that ball tightly to his chest, making sure they have another nasty turnover there. Big time run for the sophomore.
1st and 10 at the Timberview 11. Lagongo wingback right side, fullback dive. Babcock spinning down towards the 6. Homer Babcock, tough running inside. Love that little fullback trap, and it works for another 4 yards there.
Yeah, he's trying to cut inside, and at least you get the 4 because it seemed like Timberview's defensive line and linebackers were crashing right down the middle, right down the throat of the Trinity offensive line, but you still get the 4, and Trinity inches that much closer.
I formation, Babcock in front of Wilson. Wilson toss sweep left, has blockers. Cuts back, lowers his shoulder. Boy, and he got right to the 1, which was the line to gain. A lot of defensive intensity for the Wolves. Saw Rashad Burton, one of about 4 or 5 different Timberview defenders in trying to make the stop. And we're going to stop for a measurement.
Well, Thomas Wilson just carried about 4 or 5 defenders. As you said, a lot of jerseys involved in that for Timberview's sake. It took about 15 seconds for Wilson to get untangled from all the defenders that were around him. So just a heady play by J-Ron, who's trying to carry the pile into the end zone. We'll see if it's enough here. Stretch the chains out, and it's just short. An inch, maybe 2. 3rd down and inches. And the jumbo package comes in for Trinity. Inoke Longy is in there. Will Taylor, the 2 tight ends. You've also got Latu Maile. They're loading up the beef right there behind, or I should say in front of Wilson. Referee talking things over with Christian Hammock. He has just become so poised this season. Now his 12th game as a starter. Looks like he's been doing this his entire life. 3rd down and inches. Wing back to either side. Just a surge by the quarterback,
into the end zone. Touchdown, Trinity. Christian Hammock's 5th rushing touchdown of the season. He gets in from 1 yard out, and the Trojans retake the lead.
And what a response, too, after the fumble given up to Timberview. They drive down 16 yards and score, and then you have the touchdown right there on what a great drive. Got it all started with that big deep pass to Edric Gonzalez, and then stamp an exclamation point with the halfback carry into the end zone.
Cullen Ships PAT up and good. New score from AT&T Stadium. Trinity 28, Timberview 21. 54 seconds left to go, third quarter. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever, and here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Trinity moves the ball 63 yards down the field. A 2-yard rushing touchdown for the quarterback, Christian Hammock. 6 plays, 3 first downs. And here, just under a minute to go in the third, it's Trinity 28-21 over Timberview.
Boy, Lugongo with a huge hit. You heard the oohs and ahs in our crowd mic here at AT&T Stadium. He knocks the return man for Timberview, Larry Jones, down to the turf, just shy of the 25-yard line. That's a big-time hit right there. So the Timberview offense back out there, staring down the barrel of a 7-point deficit. The waning seconds of the third quarter. Back to either side of Timberview quarterback Tevin Muse. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Snap is back. He's going to keep it off the right side. Doesn't look like he really got anywhere, but when you're 6'2", 220, you just kind of fall forward and pick up 5 yards.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and I know that Coach Brown has been pleased with the way Tevin has played, especially the last few weeks. He brings a lot of leadership to this team as a senior, and he's got to really find a way to get his team down the field here with a touchdown.
2 receivers right, that's the short side of the field, 1 to the left. Muse limping a bit. He's going to hand off on 2nd and 5, knifing through, gets about 5 yards. That should be enough for a first down to the 35. And that should do it for the third quarter of play. It'll be 1st and 10, Timberview at their own 35 when we come back. We head to the fourth quarter. Trinity 28, Timberview 21. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football here on Champion Sports Radio.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
28-21, Trinity takes a 7-point lead into the fourth quarter over Timberview. Thomas Lee, Ryan Mueller here with you upstairs, downstairs on the Cowboy Stadium turf. Sweet Pete Nielsen. Swing pass, almost intercepted. What a break. Matthew Munoz almost got his second interception of the ball game right there as he steps in front of the little quick hitch on the outside. Killer play by the Trojan cornerback.
The ball just kind of sailed and hung up, and it gave him time to size it up and almost come up with the interception.
Handoff off the left side, slowed down at the 40, accelerating out to the 44-yard line on second down. It's a 9-yard gain. And a good run by Daniel Ramos III. Third down and 1 now for the Wolves. Their own 44-yard line. Big hit by Afoke Olie. Third down and 1 from the left hash. Trying to sweep around the right side, turns the corner, gets the first down. Good tackle by TJ Kaltai, but Gilliard is able to fall forward for a 3-yard gain. That'll move the chains. First down, Timberview.
Seen some nice plays, Myron Gilliard, here in this ball game. Just a little extra effort from him. 5'10", 165-pounder. Uses every bit of that frame to get over the marker and get the first.
First down and 10 on their own 47. High snap, play fake, busted play. Muse falls down. That's a good thing. Tobias Nate was about to lay into him, and the senior quarterback just cut his losses. Lived to play another down.
We mentioned the intensity level of the Trojans ratcheted up, and that's, I think, why you're seeing Tevin Muse walk with a little bit of a limp because of how hard he's been hit, whether he's been up under pressure or out into space getting tackled. He's taking some hits tonight.
Fullback to his right, handoff off the right side in a stretch play. A huge hit by Turner Woolley, knocking Nick James down to the turf right at the midfield stripe. Third down and 7 upcoming for Timberview.
Finally getting Nick James involved, as he was a real spark plug in the first half with the 2 touchdowns that he had, and nice little handoff there, but even better pursuit for Turner Woolley.
Big play here, 10 minutes left to go in the ball game. 3rd and 7 for Timberview at the 50. James to the left of Muse. Back to pass, picks up the blitz, now just wants to start it to run. He's hit from behind, the ball pops loose, it's on the ground, it's picked up by Trinity. Oh no, the quarterback was whistled down. Oh, Nalo scooped and he was ready to score. Nobody was going to catch him. But the officials say that Muse was down. It's a 1-yard loss on the play. And that ball is clearly, I hate having these replays here, that ball is clearly out before Muse hit the turf. That should be a touchdown the other way for Nalo. Instead, the punt unit comes on for the Wolves. Branch getting ready to get rid of it. Pass back to him. No, they're going to go with the fake. Now he pulls it down. And the coverage unit with a great job of getting down there. He's going to field it, roll inside the 10, and down to the 6-yard line. 45 yards on the punt, nothing on the return. The Trojans take over deep in their end with a touchdown lead and 8:50 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And Trojan fans continue to voice their displeasure for the early whistle from the side judge.
And looking for a little bit of room. Muse got a great block, I believe. It was Michael Coleman in there, offensive lineman. Looked like there was a bunch of room, and I've said that like 5 times tonight. Well, it looks like he has a lot of space, and then it closes up. Well, he was hit hard from behind, and I agree with you. The replay shows that the ball popped loose before the knee hit the ground. Trinity fans can only hope now that you've got 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the ball game that they'll try to matriculate the ball down the field and use a lot of that clock.
First down and 10 from the 6. Fullback dive. Busted through. Still on his feet to the 15 and finally dragged down at the 18-yard line. Homer Babcock with a big run there for a Trojan first down.
Just doesn't quit on the play. Drags the defender with him for 2 or 3 yards. And Homer Babcock, like I said, he is, for a couple of years now, been a big part of this offense, whether he's blocking or he's toting the rock. Gets a couple there for a first.
1st and 10 from their own 18. Second man through, gets the handoff, maybe a couple of yards, nothing more than that. As the Wolves defense shuts the door on J-Ron Wilson right at the 20. It's a 2-yard gain. Brings up 2nd down and 8 after the tackle by Craig Jim Lawson.
As close as this game is, Trinity never panics, and they've been that way for as long as I can remember. And that just stems down from Steve Lineweaver saying, hey, guys, we got to pick it up in the second half. Let's be who we've been all season and start to show that.
Play action fake, bootleg to the left. Lots of room to go. Spin move, stays in bounds down the sideline, and finally is hit and tackled out of bounds. How calm, cool, and collected is Christian Hammock? He takes it all the way down near the 38-yard line. Very impressive by the senior, who has really stepped into this role and is thriving. It's a 17-yard run for the quarterback, Hammock, on the naked bootleg.
Hammock not able to do that without these, obviously, guys up front, but the running backs, Ellsworth, Wilson, and Gonzalez, have done well tonight. They're looking for the ball carrier. Instead, Hammock pulls it out.
Play fake. They roll it out to the right side again. They throw it up for grabs and out of bounds. Smart play by Hammock. We do have penalty flags down. Looks like the initial indications it's going to go against Timberview. Let's see what the infraction is from our referee. He's trying to sort out the laundry himself. Oh, Klaus. Holding on the defense is the call. Klaus Straussman, the referee, umpire Carl Edmondson, Tony Mason, the head linesman, line judge J.B. Berry, Robert Dildine, the back judge. Line of scrimmage is now the 48 for the Trojans, 2 yards shy of midfield. From the left hash, I formation. Delay give, following the good blocking, and J-Ron Wilson was one missed defender from a touchdown. But that defender was Keegan Edwards, who's unofficially has got like 20,000 tackles in this ball game.
Secures the football and great blocks to his right. And I think you called it right there, Thomas. He got tripped up. If he hadn't, he'd have been gone.
7-yard gain on first down, sets up 2nd and 3 at the Wolf 45. Wilson slowed down, fights forward, gets about a yard. Nothing more than that. Badajo, the sophomore defensive end, in there, and that's one thing we haven't talked about. This Wolf team is fueled by underclassmen. Only 3 senior starters on offense, 6 on defense. That's 9 out of 22 that they're going to lose this year. This is really about getting this team some experience. Now it's 3rd and 2 for the Trojans from the middle of the field. Fullback dive, fighting forward, would not give up. Babcock down to the 41. Needed 2, got 3, and it's a first down for the Trojans.
Timberview knows where the ball's going, at least where Homer Babcock is, and trying to close gaps in between tackles. And that's what's impressive about Homer Babcock, is that he can, even though his size is 5'8", 189 pounds, he can carry defenders.
First down and 10 as we approach 6 minutes left. Jet sweep, turning the corner. Look at Gonzalez take on the tackler and bowl him over. Now, Edwards did bring Gonzalez down to the turf, but the punishment was definitely dished out by the 5'5", 134-pound senior Edric Gonzalez.
Elusive speed Gonzalez has as he just gets around traffic, tries to get out around the edge, and I think you're right, Thomas. The way he was running with a full head of steam knocked the defender over, even though he was brought to a standstill.
5 yards for Gonzalez on the sweep. Going to run option right. Hammock with the keeper. The Wolves grab his ankle. Jacob Addison, the middle linebacker, gets the ankle of Hammock, holds him to just a 3-yard gain, sets up 3rd and 2, and I think Coach Lineweaver's fine with this. We continue to stay on schedule. We continue to stay in 3rd and short. As long as we keep picking up these first downs, we're running time off the clock, and we're one step closer to a rematch with Carroll on Friday.
Remember, this drive started all the way back on the Trinity 6-yard line, and that's what Coach Lineweaver and fans were hoping for, a long drive.
I formation, 3rd and 2, toss sweep. Wilson busts through to the 30, 25, 20, down the sideline. Did he stay in bounds? He did! Touchdown, Trinity! J-Ron Wilson does it again. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the day, his 19th of the season. And the Trojans storm into the end zone on a amazing drive from deep in their own territory.
It just looked like a blur running through traffic, and I mentioned it. If he can get some room in front of him, he could finally bust it loose, and Wilson had been waiting for that all game long, and he had the 26-yarder earlier, but he got one from 33 yards out there. Man, he has speed.
Cohen ships extra point up and good. New score from AT&T Stadium. Trinity 35, Timberview 21. 4:43 left to go in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Trinity Trojan football on Champion Sports Radio. Back to Arlington, Texas after this timeout.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Big time run, 33 yards to be exact, from J-Ron Wilson. Trinity takes it 94 yards on that drive, and they extend their lead. Trojans 35, Wolves 21. 4 minutes, 43 seconds left to go here in the 4th quarter from AT&T Stadium. Here's Thomas Lee.
1st down and 10 on their own 30 after the kickoff out of bounds. Fires over the middle, deflected and knocked away. Man, what a great play by Turner Woolley. And George Moiakiola was coming in for the kill shot. And after Woolley deflected the pass, Moiakiola smartly, a multiple-year starter for Coach Lineweaver's defense, eased up. Pass over the middle, deflected by the heavy rush. The Trojan defenders are now starting to pin their ears back and tear after Tevin Muse.
It's kind of been the difference maker here in this second half, Thomas, is that he just hasn't had a whole lot of room to work with, and they're hitting him hard.
2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Back to pass. Tunnel screen, pass too low. Intended for Okuzor. And it looks like a 3 and out. Didn't take a lot of time with 3 incomplete passes, but Timberview needs points right now and not a punt. But Ryan Branch is set to punt it away. Trojans, nobody's back deep. They're playing defense. They do kick it away down the right side. It's going to go inside the 40, inside the 35, rolling down inside the 30, inside the 25, and down to the 24-yard line. 46 yards on the punt, nothing on the return. The Trojans with a chance to run out the final 4:10 on this one and advance to a rematch with the Carroll Dragons.
It's funny, about a half hour ago, you said that the Trojans look kind of out of sync. They have definitely fixed that. Now it's Timberview who looks a little bit out of rhythm, as Tevin Muse, I think, as much as he's been pressured, now is hearing those footsteps, and that's why that ball is near the feet and into the turf. And his pass for that screen. Tevin Muse has had a whale of a ball game, but Trinity's gotten the best of him here in the second half.
It's kind of hard to throw those tunnel screens when the defensive end jumps up and is blocking about 60% of your passing window. Trojans, 32 personnel, 3 tight ends, 2 backs. Toss sweep to the left side, turns the corner. Isaac Ellsworth fights hard to stay in bounds. There's a penalty flag thrown. And now a second one comes in late in this one as well. Steve Lineweaver holding his Trojans back on the Trinity sideline as the action spilled over. So the officials have the in-play flag and a post-possession flag as well. Somebody who had a better look is Sweet Pete Nielsen on the sideline. Peter?
Guys, that came close to kind of going out of control. If it wasn't for Coach Tyron and Coach Lineweaver, some of the Trinity guys were more than willing to get involved with that, but the cooler heads have prevailed.
We mentioned a couple times Coach Tryon's son plays for Timberview. He's an offensive guard. So I'm sure Coach Tryon knows a lot of these boys, teammates of his son. I'm sure that definitely helped the situation. Officials still trying to sort out all the penalty yardage. Let's see where we have. 2 fouls in the play. We have holding on the offense. That's on Trinity. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on Trinity. Well, that didn't help. 4 minutes left to go. You want to go into your 4-minute offense. And it's first down, and they got to get to the 35-yard line. Line of scrimmage right now is the 7. Actually, the 34. It's first and 27. I don't know if I've ever said that before. Belly dive for Gonzalez. And not a lot of running room there. Puma in on the stop. Alejandro Anzaldula. I think Timberview's taking a timeout. They've got a situation here where they can get the ball back fairly easily unless Trinity breaks a big play. So a timeout taken by the Wolves. 3:53 remaining here, fourth quarter. Of course, this is their second of 3 games here today from AT&T Stadium. You've been with us all day. Appreciate you listening to Champion Sports Radio. Game 1 was a heartbreaker for the Coppell Cowboys as DeSoto comes back. A touchdown pass from Desmond White to Kevin Thomas with 41 seconds left in the fourth. Gave the Eagles the win to advance to take on Arlington Martin. Winner of this one will take on South Lake Carroll Friday, 4 p.m. right here at Cowboy Stadium. And then coming up after the conclusion of our ball game, we've got another great heavyweight showdown, the Hebron Hawks and the Cedar Hill Longhorns. The winner takes on Abilene Cooper, 4 o'clock on Saturday at Shotwell Stadium in Abilene. Second down and 27 for the Trojans on their own 7. Hammock with a smart, hard count there. Couldn't get anybody to move. Of course, a holding penalty and then a personal foul dead ball penalty has put Trinity in this deep hole. I formation. Second man through, bust through. Spinning to the 10, to the 15. Great seal block. Down the sideline. Isaac Ellsworth is gone. Say goodnight to this one. 93-yard touchdown run for Isaac Ellsworth. And the Trojans get a chance to try and slay the Dragons on Friday.
J-Ron Wilson's been making all the noise. Isaac Ellsworth felt that he needed to get into the mix, and that hole opened up. One man to beat, and he just took it to the house. What a great speed. Trinity fans have got to love that. It stamps an exclamation point on one of the best second halves of football you'll see from Trinity here in 2013.
Edward Paris was trailing. The senior headed to LSU is a standout recruit, and he couldn't gain any ground on Ellsworth. Extra point, snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. Trojans now doubling up Timberview. 42-21 with 3:38 left to go here in the fourth quarter. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to build something, how do you start? With a plan, right? That's what AXA Advisors is about. We work with individuals and small businesses to help build financial strategies that get them closer to the things they want to achieve in life. Start right by starting your financial strategy with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Welcome back here to AT&T Stadium. 93-yard rushing touchdown for Isaac Ellsworth. And Trinity leads this one 42-21 with just under 4 minutes to go here in the fourth.
Really interesting on the drive summary there, because it's a 75-yard drive with a 93-yard touchdown run. It's really kind of weird, but that's what penalties will do to you. Kickoff return bobbled, and then immediately walloped down to the turf. Just nowhere for Larry Jones to go, and Timberview will have it 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line. Tevin Muse with his final snaps as a quarterback for the Wolves. Looking right, steps up away from pressure, fires right side, and this is off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Ezekiel Ajabi, another senior in this contest. As we mentioned, though, the Wolves chock full of talent to return next year. Duran, Tryon, Pesca, Gerhard, that's 4 of their 5 offensive linemen will be back. They're juniors. Johnson, Miller, Ramos, Galliard, all those receivers are juniors. You got receivers and running backs are juniors, I should say. This pass is almost picked off on the outside by Tyler Hayes. Another incompletion. 3rd down and 10 upcoming now for Timberview. Coleman, junior tight end. The sophomores, Larry Jones and Keyshawn Boyce. Jalen Loftus. A lot of talent for Timberview coming back next year. Of course, we'll see what their district looks like if they even stay in 5A. Back to pass. Intercepted! Lasered right side, TJ Kaltai with the INT to put a cap on this one for the Trojans.
Muse trying to throw over to the right side of the field and just threw a little behind his intended receiver, and that was enough. Athletic move, TJ Kaltai getting into the mix, and plenty of cheers for him, as you said, Thomas. That pretty much does it for this ball game.
Gonzalez in as the tailback. Nunu Tao in front of him. Hands off. Not a lot of running room there for Kenneth, but Coach Lineweaver looking to run about 3 minutes off the clock and not get anybody hurt. Start getting ready for the showdown with the Carroll Dragons 6 days from now right here on this very field.
We can't say that Trinity hasn't been battle tested. I think Marcus last week was a lot closer than everybody thought, and coming into this one, tied at the half. Much of a dogfight for Trinity here until they opened it up.
Gonzalez with a spin move at the 30, down inside the 25 and down to the 22-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. 11-yard run for Kenneth Gonzalez between the tackles. And Timberview had outgained Trinity for most of this contest. Now the Trojans at 441 yards of offense to Timberview's 299. And don't forget about the 84-yard punt return down to the 1 for Kenneth Gonzalez as well. We've got an injured player down. And that's not how you want to see the season end for any of the Wolves. While he is being tended to, we'll step aside for a break. 2:24 left to go, fourth quarter. Trojans doubling up Timberview 42-21. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football here on Champion Sports Radio. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShotboxDFW.com today. ShotboxDFW.com. The injured Timberview player was Dacion Harris. He walks off mostly under his own power. Inside of 2 minutes we go, and here's an inside give between the tackles for the Trojans, who have it 1st and 10 at the Timberview 22-yard line. Tyler Nate on the carry there, gets maybe a yard to the 21-yard line. Clock continuing to tick down now as we go inside of 100 seconds left in this one. Trojans leading it comfortably 42-21. Coming up on the AXA Advisors post-game show, Sweet Pete will catch up with Steve Lineweaver, the head coach of the Trinity Trojans. We'll have final stats and highlights, all that and more. We continue with the AXA Advisors post-game show. Here's a toss play to the left. Tyler Nate, the big sophomore, still churning on his feet, will not go down. He steps out at the 5. Shoved out of bounds by Nate Jones, the junior cornerback, but Tyler Nate is a loaded 6 foot, 219 pounds. The sophomore would not quit. It's a first down for Trinity with 61 seconds left in the ball game.
They say keep on trucking, and that's exactly what Nate T did. Looked like he was about wrapped up and just shakes off his defender. That's nice play. Physical dominance shown right there from Nate T.
Christian Hammock takes a knee. Probably need to do it one more time before all is said and done here. But what a second half performance by the Trinity Trojans. Trinity has outscored Timberview 28-7 here in the second half after a 14-14 ball game at the break. And Hammock will snap it one more time. There's the snap, there's the knee. 15 seconds will run off. And that'll do it. Explosive second half for the Trojans as they win at 42-21 over the Timberview Wolves. Coming up on the X Advisors post-game show, we will have a conversation with Steve Lineweaver, the head coach of the Trojans. Final stats, second half highlights, all of that and more when we continue here from AT&T Stadium. Let's get your final score. 42-21 Trinity advances to 10-2 on the season, and a rematch with the Carroll Dragons Friday at 4 o'clock right here at AT&T Stadium. Once again, your final score, Trinity 42, Timberview 21. The Axe Advisor postgame show continues in a moment. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast
42-21 the final scores. The Trojans knock off the Timberview Wolves. Axe Advisor postgame show begins when we go down to the field to Pete Nielsen.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the big victory here. You found out something about your football team in the second half.
Well, we said at halftime, I know what's wrong with y'all. You think we're supposed to be ahead by 5 touchdowns, and you don't know how to handle it. Well, welcome to the playoffs. And I thought our kids attituded up, made some adjustments, and we started playing faster. My goodness, that was a good team.
Every week it's somebody different. Last week it was Ellsworth. This week it's Wilson. Talk about that running back troop of yours. Everybody makes a play for you.
Well, we got Kenneth waiting in the wings too now. Little 33. He can do it too. Yeah, you're right. I don't know which one's going to show. I mean, they're all going to show, but you never. Hold on.
He's coaching, guys.
I'm sorry. I thought
Okay.
something happened there. What? All right, here we go.
No, anyway, next week you got another challenge. Season ended last year with Carroll. Your thoughts on that bunch, and do you even get time to enjoy this one?
Well, we got an early game. I know that. We're playing Friday at 4 right here at this house. So that's a hard question, to be honest, and answer it. Can I enjoy this one? You almost have to, for 12 hours anyway, or you're going to end up not being really sharp for the next one. That doesn't sound right, but you really, if you get too much ahead of yourself and don't enjoy it with the kids, there's no joy in winning. What the heck we're doing? So, we got to enjoy it for a little while. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to the communities and everything like that.
Somehow you'll have your football team ready. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Peter, excellent job today. Appreciate everything you did down the sideline, and thanks to Coach Lineweaver for once again making time for us and helping us broadcast these games. 10-2 now on the year. That is the Trinity Trojan record. They've won 10 consecutive ball games. 162nd win in Steve Lineweaver's illustrious coaching career at Trinity High School. His 39th playoff victory as Trinity gets their 55th in their team history, but under Steve Lineweaver, 39 out of 55 playoff wins for the Trojans have come under his watch in the last 14 years. Step aside for a break. We'll continue with more of the AXA Advisors post-game show. Final stats, final highlights, and we'll wrap things up here from AT&T Stadium. All that and more when we continue in a moment. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Football on Champion Sports Radio. Once again, your final score, 42-21. Trojans with the win over Timberview. Back to AT&T Stadium after these messages.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever, and here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
You make plans for just about everything, the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner, but have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
We continue on with the AXA Advisors post-game show here. Final score, 42-21, Trinity with the win over Timberview. Explosive plays aplenty in this one. And time now to take a look at our final statistics in a game that Trinity trailed in total yardage against Timberview until late in the third quarter. Well, part of that had to do with a touchdown coming after a 84-yard punt return by Kenneth Gonzalez. That takes a lot of the total yards you're going to put up out of that. But I tell you, it's impressive what Trinity has done. 458 yards of offense tonight, 386 on the ground. They averaged 7.8 yards per carry in the contest against a stout Timberview defense that came in fourth against the rush in North Texas. They rattle up 386 yards on the ground, 72 through the air, total of 458. Timberview 299 yards of offense, 193 on the ground on 41 carries. That's 4.7 yards per rush. 106 passing yards on 6 of 22 passing. It's not a very good completion percentage of 27%. 5 punts for Timberview, only 2 for Trinity. Average favoring Timberview, 41.6. Trinity's 32.5. 2 turnovers apiece, 2 fumbles, both of them lost by Trinity. 2 interceptions thrown by Timberview quarterback Tevin Muse. Penalty flags a bit of an issue as well. Mansfield with more penalties, 10, but only for 55 yards, most of them 5-yard variety. Trinity 4 penalties, 37 yards all told. Individually, Christian Hammock 2 of 5 passing, 72 yards, but he did add 21 yards on the ground on 5 carries, including a touchdown plunge. But it once again a balanced load. Isaac Ellsworth, 12 rushes, 154 yards and a touchdown. J-Ron Wilson, 18 rushes, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns on the night. Homer Babcock, 5 carries, 22 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Natey, 3 rushes, 21 yards. Kenneth Gonzalez, 3 rushes, 19 yards. Edric Gonzalez had a 5-yard end around. DeAndre Gibson caught a 52-yard tunnel screen. And Edric Gonzalez with a 20-yard catch as well. For Timberview, Tevin Muse, 6 of 22 passing, 106 yards, 2 interceptions. Muse with 33 rushing yards on 12 attempts. Nick James, 16 carries, 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. Daniel Ramos III, 4 rushes, 35 yards and a touchdown. Myron Galliard, 5 rushes, 14 yards. Bryce Johnson had 3 carries for 12 yards. And Michael Coleman with a 3-yard rush as well. Receiving, Galliard had a 148-yard catch. Loftus, 2 catches, 36 yards. Jones had a 10-yard catch. Martin caught 1 ball for 7 yards. And Garner with a 5-yard reception as well. All adds up to a 42-21 win for the Trinity Trojans. As they came out guns a-blazing in the second half. It was a tie ball game at 14 apiece. Outscoring Timberview 28-7 in the second half. Step aside for one more break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up on the AXA Advisors post-game show. Final thoughts, our play of the game, all of that and more when we continue in a moment. You're listening to Trinity Trojan Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio. Trojans get the win tonight, advancing to a third-round showdown with the South Lake Carroll Dragons Friday at 4 p.m. The game you can hear 3:30 airtime on Champion Sports Radio. Once again, your final score, 42-21. Trojans with the win. Trinity Trojan Playoff Football continues in a moment.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. AXA Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334, or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShotboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com. And welcome back to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas. Once again, your final score, 42-21, Trinity with the win over Timberview. AXA Advisors post-game show continues on. For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades. AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Thomas Lee along with Ryan Mueller here from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And what a whale of a second half the Trojans put forth. Looked lackadaisical. And I thought when Coach Lineweaver said in his postgame interview with Pete, kind of hit it right on the head. They didn't know what to do. They expected to be up by 5 touchdowns at the half, and they weren't. And they kind of were soul-searching. I don't know who stepped up in the locker room with the leadership, but they came out in the second half like they were a team on a mission.
Yeah, Coach Lineweaver basically said, if you're going to come out of the locker room in the second half, bring your lunch pail with you because it's time to go to work. And I think everybody bought into that scenario because of the way that they came out and scored on 4 of their 5 possessions they had in the second half. I mean, that's incredible. I thought Wilson kind of set the tone in the second half, and then Ellsworth kind of stamped it with his exclamation point there at the very end. This is a team that's has cruised along their schedule and then ran into a tough opponent in Timberview, but they're going to be ready to play. I think second half was a wake-up call for Trinity, and they know how important it's going to be next week against a team like Carroll, who we know that losing to Allen was a blemish on their record, but since then, Carroll has played like gangbusters. So Coach Lineweaver, I'm sure, will try to keep this lightning in a bottle, if you will, after the second half and ride into next Friday right here at this about the same time.
Time now to take a look at our play of the game. And, gosh, there were so many explosive plays in the second half that really continue to pile on. I'm curious with which one Mr. Mueller is going to take here. And anything in the second half is probably good, considering that's when the team really started playing like they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, you've got the 26-yard touchdown by Jalen Wilson to make it 21-14. You can look at the 2-yard rushing touchdown by Christian Hammock. That was really important. That pulled him up 28-21. Another touchdown, his third of the game, the 33-yarder from Jalen Wilson, and that made it 35-21. That's where you started to see Trinity pull away, but I thought there was none bigger than the amount of ground covered by Isaac Ellsworth, and that's where I turn my attention, is the 10th series, just one play after being backed up by a couple of penalties. Here is the young man right now carrying the rock all the way down the field.
I formation. Second man through, bust through. Spinning to the 10, to the 15. Great seal block. Down the sideline. Isaac Ellsworth is gone. Say goodnight to this one. 93-yard touchdown run for Isaac Ellsworth. And the Trojans get a chance to try and slay the Dragons on Friday.
So there you have it. 93 yards is impressive all on its own, especially because they were backed up. And then I think that completely took whatever glimmer of hope was left for the Timberview Wolves completely out. And there you have it. There's your play of the game. Isaac Ellsworth with a great move down the sideline to put Trinity up, double up, and head to our final score of 42-21.
So that means we have at least two games on Champion Sports Radio next week. Have a great ball game on Friday between the Trinity Trojans and the South Lake Carroll Dragons. 3:30 pregame, 4 o'clock kickoff right here at AT&T Stadium. And on Saturday, we're going to have something for you. We know who the opponent is going to be, as Abilene Cooper is hosting at Shotwell Stadium, 4 p.m. Saturday, 3:30 with the pregame. The winner of the game that's about to start here between Hebron and Cedar Hill gets to go out to West Texas for a little hospitality.
Yeah, lots left to be played, and you and I kind of, Coach Lineweaver doesn't want to look ahead, Thomas, but you and I can because, we broadcast games for a living, but looking ahead to next week in the Carroll Dragons and going back to what happened in the middle part of the decade at Texas Stadium with the fake punt, I think that's a sour taste left in the mouth of Steve Lineweaver, but at the same time, I think that the guys are ready. They want to get back to it after being punched in the mouth last year. They want to meet the Dragons again and get a chance for some revenge.
And they want to continue this season. Heavy hearts when they stop and thinking about it after the death of the 3 teens in the car crash over the summer. They've got the decal they're wearing on the side of their helmets. Gaius Vanuku, Polo Manu Kainu, and of course Andrew Uhatafe. It was a really tough summer with the tragic events of late July, the team pulling together, and they really wanted to dedicate this season to their fallen teammates, and there's no better way than to keep playing. And I know that's what those young men were very interested in, the tradition of Trinity and keeping those things going. And good news is for Trojan fans out there, they get at least one more week don't want to look ahead too far, but with the way the bracket sets up, the winner of South Lake Carroll and Trinity on Friday will take on the winner of DeSoto and Arlington Martin. And it's just unbelievable how many talented teams there are in Class 5A Division I bracket. It's going to be a heavyweight battle here on out, no matter who wins the ball games. These are four of the most storied programs over the last 10 years in North Texas, and they will all be fighting for one spot in the quote-unquote Final Four here in the 5A Division I bracket.
Yeah, I look at any of those scenarios, and they're all great matchups. Of course, Trinity fans hoping that the Trojans will be there to either face DeSoto or Martin. But, I think a lot's left on the table here, and Trinity got a big win here this afternoon. May have played a little light, may have played a little extra days ago. I understand that, but what we saw in the second half, I think, was a big wake-up call, and they'll need it next week.
Want to thank everybody for making these Trinity Trojan broadcasts possible. Special thanks to the Trinity Trojan Booster Club for everything that they do. Special thanks to our title sponsor for these broadcasts, Texas Health HEB. At Texas Health HEB, they're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for their community, but also their ongoing commitment to providing the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. After 40 years, they are better than ever. Online at texashealth.org/HEB. Special thanks to Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors, to ShockboxDFW.com, to WhirlyBallHEB.com, StatGeek.com, and the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra online at GDYO.org. Trinity Trojan Football is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio on Twitter at Champion Sports, Facebook.com/Champion Sports Radio, and online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. That'll do it for the AXA Advisors post-game show. We invite you to click over to one of our other broadcasts. Actually, we got two of them of the same game. The Hebron feed, the Cedar Hill feed, both of them are available for your listening pleasure on ChampionSportsRadio.com. So high school football doesn't have to end just because we are signing off here from AT&T Stadium. Once again, your final score, 42-21. It's a big win for the Trinity Trojans in come-from-behind fashion as they are able to get past Timberview and set up a rematch with the Carroll Dragons. For all of us here at Champion Sports Radio, special thanks to Sweet Pete Nielsen on the sideline. To my color analyst, Ryan Mueller, my name is Thomas Lee. Trojans win at 42-21 over Timberview. Next up, the South Lake Carroll Dragons. 3:30 pregame, 4 o'clock kickoff Friday, right here, AT&T Stadium and on Champion Sports Radio. Till then, folks, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Champion Sports Radio.